like a different man. Just staying right. What day it's over. Realize we belong together. Do it like we're apart together. Close your eyes and we're all together.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome for the second and last day of the NoCode Summit 2023. To start this day on the master stage, we are going to talk about the SFPN, who is basically the organization, the non-profit organization behind the summit. For that, please welcome and give a warm welcome to Pierre Lenay, our president and CEO of Cube. Thomas Gros, VP of the Training Organization College and founder of Cube. Benjamin Atlan, Vice President of the Agency College and founder of Slituo. And finally, Benoît de Monteclair, CEO and co-founder of NC Scale and VP Editor College of the SFPN. Enjoy.
Thank you, Margot. Hello, everyone. I hope the first day was a good moment for all of you. It was very intense, and we saw a lot of conferences. So we begin this second day with a much more institutional conference about the Syndicate, because Syndicate is the organizer of the NoCode Summit, and we wanted to take time to explain to you who we are, who's behind the Syndicate, and for this we have a very interesting roundtable. Some vice president of the college and representative of each jobs of the syndicate. Maybe just a roundtable to present yourself.
Hello everyone, glad to be here. So I'm Thomas Grog, co-founder of Cube School, which is a training organization which provides boot camps to individuals and companies. And I'm also the VP of the training organization committee for the SFPN.
Hi everybody, Benjamin Atlan. I'm co-founder and the founder of Slituo, which is an agency. So I'm doing this with Vincent Véril, who also owns an agency. So yeah, we present all the agencies in Paris, in France.
And I'm Benoît de Monteclair, the co-founder and the CEO of NC Scale and the VP of the NoCode Tools College with Jean-Michel at Time Tonic 2.
Thank you to all of you to be here. The SFPN. Why the SFPN? We did a lot of things. It's a very young syndicate because we have only 2 years of existence, but we have a great energy. All the people are very motivated to make things possible, to think about projects, what we can do for all the sector. And when the syndicate was founded 2 years ago, the idea was to create and gather, to create a community of professionals, because historically it was a big community and still existing, which is NoCode France, more than 10K of people on the Slack, so it's very impressive, but it's less professional community. That's why we wanted something very professional, to gather professional, only professional, to create networking and many other things, and that was the main reason why we wanted to create the syndicate. So the main actions and the main missions that we wanted to work on are the first one, to federate, to gather no-code and low-code players, historically mainly from France, to create a French networking. And this year we wanted to open the syndicate to the world, and we create a special community. We call it college in our syndicate. To open the door to international actors, and we will be on this topic just after it. So, federate, gathering all the actors of the no-code ecosystem to promote it and make it work on the growth of the whole ecosystem and no-code ecosystem, because we saw a lot of initiatives that was not pushed with all the actors that work together. And that's why we wanted to work on this. And the other part is we are now 46 members in the SFPN, so 10 or 13 agencies, 10, 13 publishers, editors, 5 or 6 training organizations. So we are representing all the fields and all the jobs in the sector, and we want to defend interest of the code and the low-code professionals. So, as I said, we are organized with different colleges to represent the different jobs. The first one is College of NoCode Tools, College of Agencies, College of Training Organizations, College of Freelancers, and International College. And this year, this is the Administrative Council. The big issue of this slide is that we do not have any women in the council, in administrative council this year. We have to change it for next year. So if you are a woman no-coder, come join us to make it a little bit different for the next year. But this is great to have this big team, because all the people were very motivated to make things possible and to work on different topics, and we will be in the detail just after it. And this year, it was the small difference with the first year. We have 2 permanent members, Clément Garrigue, who is the General Secretary of the SFPN and manage all what you see here to make it, for the moment, a good success, about the NoCode Summit, about the Tour de France. We'll be on detail on the subject too, and Clara Cross on the communication field.
And I want to present the NoCode Tools College, and we have the chance in France to have so many NoCode tools. It's really incredible, and we have also a big community in France. So I think it is it's normal. So we have more than 13 members. Most of them are in Paris, but also in Nantes, Caen, Lille, Lyon. So it's really incredible to have so many no-code tools, and they are now part of the SFPN, so we can also go international thanks to the SFPN to be more visible too. So it's something really, really great.
Okay, now I will give you some words about the training organization committee. So it's mainly composed of 5 actors in Paris, Lyon, and Marseille. This training organization committee performs many actions, very important in the ecosystem, to evangelize, standardize, trying to find a framework around the no-code and low-code movement, and promote basically no-code in the education sector. So we have many projects, basically, quite intense this year and very important for the next few years. Especially, we are working on 2 very important projects with different government authorities, especially, to standardize and trying to find a framework around the industry to promote the development, support the development of a no-code, low-code sector. So we work with AFNOR, which is the French organization of standardization. So this is a very important work with Julie this year. And it will, of course, iterate, and it will be a project over a few years and few months later. And also another one, very important, is the submission of the no-code developer emerging skill file. So basically, it's a call for application, call for response, organized by the France Compétences organization, trying to basically make the no-code developer profession recognized, especially in the education spaces for training organization, and more largely for education. So it's very important to promote the job of the no-code developers, maker, basically in France and worldwide. So we have many ambition on this, and it will be critical for the next few months.
Yes, regarding the agencies and also the freelancers, so there is 16 agencies, not 15, 16 yet, and 8 freelancers, all professional. And what we can see that it spreads all around the country, so it's really great to have those all professionals services. So those agencies are from all sizes. And also we address many different kind of companies from the entrepreneur and the big company also. So it's really interesting to gather all together and to share best practices all around those agencies and freelancers. So this is really a huge movement, and it's really interesting to become more and more professional and to take advantage of the no-code for our customers.
Over the different projects of the SFPN this year, there was a great event, a great new initiative that took place in France, which is named the Tour of France, basically. The idea of this event was to meet all the local institutional and private actors in France. So the team of the SFPN went to Paris, Lille, Nantes, Lyon, Marseille, and finally Toulouse to organize sessions of meetings, of presentation, of demos. Basically, there were great energy, great talks with the local players to identify also synergies, present the NoCode Summit, and trying to find, links between the activities potentially on future projects. So that was a great event, and I'm sure something we will continue next year for sure in other maybe cities also in France.
Yeah, maybe in Europe. Why not?
Where?
In Europe.
In Europe.
And I think that I can add something also for this, because in each city you have some no-code tools, no-code agencies. So it's really great for the no-code tools to be able to talk with no-code agencies, to be new integrators. So it's really amazing to have this family together just to make more business also in France and also in international, thanks to this local partnership.
And the great thing is that I think the ecosystem was quite aware of the no-code, and the exchanges with them were very interesting. So to promote innovation in their ecosystem, so it's a great thing I think for no-code.
If we talk a little bit about KPIs and the main the main event we did this year, if we compare it to the NoCode Summit of last year it was a real success because we didn't have the same team, we didn't have the same. It was really an MVP last year. This year it's a little bit different, and we are very proud to double every numbers. We were more than 1,000 last year, and this year we are 2,000. 44 nationalities. They will be more than 50. We don't have precise detail on this KPI, but when we saw all the enthusiasm about all the participants and mainly international, it's a real success on this KPI. About the speakers, it's a pretty double, 163. So I think for now it's a real success because we gather all the no-code passion here in Station F, and this is the main event of the Syndicate after the Tour de France. I don't know if you want to add something about the KPI and what you feel about the first day of NoCode Summit yesterday.
It's incredible to have 2 times more people, 2 times more sponsors too, and with again more international sponsors. So Yes, I think we have the chance now to have Paris as the biggest global event for NoCode field, and it is in Paris. So that's really a big achievement, and so I can't wait to the 24.
And very glad to be at Station F also, and the heart of innovation startups. It's really great to be there.
Very symbolic. So why become a member? As we presented it to you, we try to gather all the NoCode professionals. So if you want to join a network, first a French network of NoCode actors, but not only French actors, because we have the International College. This is easier to communicate, to discuss with different players, and this is the main goal of the SFPN, to create this networking atmosphere and to participate in awareness raising and expertise initiatives like Thomas presented about new job recognition with France Compétences, with AFNOR. There are many other subjects that are on the table, and we will try to create the good teams to work on it next year. So this is mainly what we do, discuss, think about what we can do to improve the networking and the professional networking of the French and international professionals. So if you want to join us, do not hesitate anymore.
Yeah, the movement is really, really young, so we just expect to growth and to growth with you. And the thing is that more will be, more will the impact will. So we really want to grow and to go further, thanks to you.
Now, I think if you have some question, it's the time to discuss about it. Do not hesitate, and we are here to answer all your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Mark from Tillin. So I saw on your map about no-code tools that there is a little gap in the southwest of France. Are you looking for partners over there? Because I'm from Toulouse as well. And I have also a second question, is about your development on or in international abroad. If you also have no-code agencies abroad, etc.
I think Toulouse region is a sponsor this year of the NoCode Summit.
Yeah, they're a sponsor, so if you want to join, just join us. And abroad, we don't have agencies from abroad. We have only NoCode publishers with Baserow, Chloe, and the last one was just yesterday that joined us. It's much more NoCode publishers, but we'll try to attract them. It's important when they have an activity in France. If they don't really have a strategy for France, this is not this is not their best strategy to join the syndicate, but Baserow is a good example. They have a big ambition in France, and joining the syndicate help them to network and connect with agencies and other actors of the syndicate.
Hello, thanks for the SFPN introduction. I have a question. I thought I was a no-code professional, but in fact, I'm not a training organization. I'm not a freelance. I'm just working as an employee in a company. So am I a professional? Do you consider me as a professional or not?
You are a professional. No, why
I'm not here in this presentation?
We thought about this point. We wanted to create a college for people that are working in companies and doing no code, but the problem with this college is that all the people are doing no code in companies. If you begin just with an Excel or with some tools like this, where do we put the limit to attract employers that are doing no code. So we work on this. Maybe next year we'll do something about this kind of profession, just people, employers that are doing and working on no code topics. But for now, this year, it was easier to cut the syndicate and to represent all the jobs, professional jobs, and not the employers. But it's on the table, and we have to think about it.
As we say, we're young, so join it.
Okay. I let the women join first, and then I'll join the syndicate later.
Eric Manoyer, freelance. Do you have a perspective on the development of the no-code practice in other European countries?
No-code practices?
Yes.
In other countries?
Exactly.
But about, I didn't exactly understand the question.
In the international committee, you mean?
Or
potentially, yeah. But
the view you have, I mean,
yeah.
what are the other countries? What stage they are? Are they as much developed as in France? What are the countries which are the most advanced regarding no-code?
Yeah, for sure, there are many countries with no-code developers. It's expanding a lot. The international committee is the youngest, with one actor today, it's Pedro, and it for sure three.
Three.
So
Pedro was the first one this summer, and Chloe was this month. And yesterday, I just...
That's why the NoCode Summit is very important.
About the trend of NoCode in other countries also, is it only in France that we have this big trend, or is it global? And it was really interesting to see the reporting of each NoCode editor, NoCode tools, because they have a user base in different countries. And I don't know many other reports, but for example, for Bubble, 30% of the users 1 year ago were in France, so it's big. And in the other countries, I think in Germany also there are great communities there, no-code communities. In Spain and in Brazil also, it's expanding a lot. And after US for sure, but US it is different. US it is a mix of no code and code, so there is no big no code community in the US. So, and in other Europe country, I don't know if you have other statistic.
No, for now.
We can just talk about the numbers of attendees at these events and number of countries represented. So it's really huge. There is 44 different countries. So it's a big figure just to have an idea of where are the no-coders in the world. So this summit just represents that, I guess.
I don't know.
Any other questions?
Hi. Do you think in the future of offering professional training for potential entrepreneurs who want to use no-code in their activity? And along the same line, do you think about creating a college for companies mainly using no-code solution in their business to highlighting business application of no-code?
The first question was, is the SFPN train? Maybe, yeah. No, not training from the SFPN because it's an association. We gather training organizations that are the one who can train entrepreneurs like Allegria, Cube, Auto, Codeless. All of those companies are training organizations, and the association is not on this part of the activity. And the second question was?
Yeah, we try to gather basically inside the training organization committee companies that offers those services. And for sure, entrepreneurs are a big part of the interested people on that. So yeah, today we only have this committee. Many projects to move forward on this track, but yeah, to date we only have this. But we could discuss maybe if you to explore what you were thinking about. Maybe you can maybe precise the second question.
Yeah, the second question was close to the last one about the companies that are doing no code. What's the place for them in the syndicate? Was kind of, yeah, as I said, this is something we didn't want to create this year because it was hard. Because the problem is that no code is everywhere in every company. So if we do this, where is the boundary? So we have to think about it, and I think it will be a real topic for next year.
Hi, I'm Chloe. I'm happy to say that I'm actually going to be trained by Cube at the end of the month. So first, thank you for having organized all this. It's quite incredible to feel that France is such a leader in no code, and you've managed to gather such incredible speakers and great quality. It was a lot of fun. And I have a very tiny question. The sofa was actually hiding which agency was in Toulouse or freelancer. So do you know which one is in Toulouse?
Can you just repeat the question? Just, I'm not sure to understand.
So you had the map of all the agencies and freelancers, and there was one in Toulouse, but it was right behind you. So I was just curious to know which one it was.
Can you just go back on the slides? My head. Yeah, here.
It's Toulouse.
What's the name?
Baptiste Spirit.
Baptiste?
Spirit. Baptiste Spirit, no.
Okay, thanks.
Baptiste Spirit, yes.
And I think they work on the XR mainly. Yeah. Thank you.
Is there any other question? One last, maybe? Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you, Evan.
Our team didn't need a new way to work. We needed a smarter way, so we switched to SmartSuite. SmartSuite helps us manage every process in our company. It makes our work simpler, smoother, and, well, smarter. SmartSuite isn't just another task management program. It's a work management platform that allows us to collaborate right where the work is being done. Not only can we assign tasks, set priorities, and manage workflows, we can even track company goals, perform analytics, and share data with different teams and departments. It's super easy to use, totally customizable, and with over 150 templates to choose from, there's a process for every project. It even comes in 15 different languages. Best part? I don't need a million open tabs and random programs just to do my job. It's all right there. We use SmartSuite to manage everything, and I mean everything. Sales, marketing, HR, customer support, product development, project management, just to name a few. With SmartSuite, getting our work done is so much easier that we're getting more work done and enjoying what we do too. It's no wonder our entire company is on board. So switch to SmartSuite and work smarter, not harder. Give it a try at smartsuite.com. Any process, any industry, one platform.
Simax est le premier logiciel de gestion complet 100% no-code. Les modules CRM, vente, achat, stock sont décrits en no-code pour apporter une souplesse unique sans programmation. Et vous pouvez vous-même ajouter ce nouveau champ dans votre ERP. Ça y est, c'est déjà fonctionnel. Simax vous permet de modifier les formules de calcul vous-même et de façon intuitive. Simplifiez-vous la vie en ajoutant des traitements automatisés. Cela vous permettra de remplacer des tâches répétitives et gagner en productivité.
Wherever you are full of ideas. Ideas to change your life, your community, and your world. Our mission is to equip people just like you to become active creators. Now is the time to turn your idea into an app. Let's build something great together. Create custom mobile apps without code on Thunkable.
What if you could push a button and see your website traffic and conversion increase instantly? Discover Weglot and the impact of translating your website. Add a language switcher in minutes and start getting visitors from all over the world with your multilingual website. Easily manage your translations with your team or professional translators. Weglot, the easiest way to translate your website.
Build custom applications for your unique business needs faster using our intuitive drag-and-drop interface. Integrate with an ecosystem of 500+ applications and perform actions without needing to write a single line of code. Visualize your data and gain insights on the go using analytics. Automate your business processes using blueprints to solve complex issues in real time from anywhere in the world.
Our team didn't need a new way to work. We needed a smarter way, so we switched to SmartSuite. SmartSuite helps us manage every process in our company. It makes our work simpler, smoother, and, well, smarter. SmartSuite isn't just another task management program. It's a work management platform that allows us to collaborate right where the work is being done. Not only can we assign tasks, set priorities, and manage workflows, we can even track company goals, perform analytics, and share data with different teams and departments. It's super easy to use, totally customizable, and with over 150 templates to choose from, there's a process for every project. It even comes in 15 different languages. Best part? I don't need a million open tabs and random programs just to do my job. It's all right there. We use SmartSuite to manage everything, and I mean everything. Sales, marketing, HR, customer support, product development, project management, just to name a few. With SmartSuite, getting our work done is so much easier that we're getting more work done and enjoying what we do too. It's no wonder our entire company is on board. So switch to SmartSuite and work smarter, not harder. Give it a try at smartsuite.com. Any process, any industry, one platform.
Syndicat est le premier logiciel de gestion complet 100% NoCode. Les modules CRM, vente, achat, stock sont décrits en NoCode pour apporter une souplesse unique sans programmation. Et vous pouvez vous-même ajouter ce nouveau champ dans votre ERP. Ça y est, c'est déjà fonctionnel. Syndicat vous permet de modifier les formules de calcul vous-même et de façon intuitive. Simplifiez-vous la vie en ajoutant des traitements automatisés. Cela vous permettra de remplacer des tâches répétitives et gagner en productivité.
Wherever you are full of ideas. Ideas to change your life, your community, and your world. Our mission is to equip people just like you to become active creators. Now is the time to turn your idea into an app. Let's build something great together.
Create custom mobile apps without code on Thunkable. What if you could push a button and see your website traffic and conversion increase instantly? Discover Weglot and the impact of translating your website. Add a language switcher in minutes and start getting visitors from all over the world with your multilingual website. Easily manage your translations with your team or professional translators. Weglot, the easiest way to translate your website.
Build custom applications for your unique business needs faster using our intuitive drag-and-drop interface. Integrate with an ecosystem of 500 plus applications and perform actions without needing to write a single line of code. Visualize your data and gain insights on the go using analytics. Automate your business processes using blueprints to solve complex issues in real time from anywhere in the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, for our first talk of the day, let me introduce you CEO and co-founder Mariam Akobian for software. She's going to talk about how to build software without devs. It's blazing fast. Welcome. Greet her warmly.
Can you hear me? Hey everyone. Good morning. So, thank you everyone for being here. So today we're going to talk about how to build software without devs. Sorry, can you hear me on the back? Okay, awesome. So, well, first of all, I'm so excited to be back on this stage 1 year later, and it has been an incredible journey for NoCode, incredible 1 year. And I'm excited to also share what we have done with software over the last 1 year, 2 years, and where the future heads. So before diving in, let's step back and understand how technology evolved over the last few years, and what is the state of the software usage today in organizations. So decades ago, companies were using still email, Excel. Okay. It's working, just a bit slow. Okay. Sorry. So yeah, decades ago, companies were using email, Excel, Google Sheets, and of course, offline Excel as well to do their work. And with the COVID happening, of course, more and more organizations needed to digitize their processes and the work they were doing offline. And especially also with economic crisis, more and more technology companies had to cut costs and really focus on what makes the most impact on the business. And then more and more companies started using more flexible, adaptable tools. It's automate workflows, manual processes, and of course, do it more efficiently and with lower costs, with using tools like Zapier, Airtable, and Make. However, with the technology evolving so fast over the last decades, we're still facing 3 big challenges. First, being the talent shortage. There's still only 27 million developers in the entire world, which by now we all know it's only 0.3% of the entire population. So there is more than a billion users or business users to be precise, that could be building their own solutions. And the second problem is that existing solutions, the more vertical SaaS products, are really rigid, they're not flexible, and they can't adapt to today's needs. And the third bigger problem is, also that today, more and more knowledge workers are tech savvy. They want to build their own solutions. They don't want to wait and have to rely on developers to do the work. So even if assuming company has engineering power, which some companies do, still to build a simple CRM or a client portal is going to require at least 6 months of engineering effort, $100,000 of dollars, and at least a team of engineers, back-end, front-end, DevOps. So that means it's still pretty inefficient. Even when the solution is out, it's already outdated because the problem evolved and the solution doesn't match the needs anymore. So we need a solution that's really flexible, adaptable to everyone's need, and that easy also for everyone to build their own solutions. And that's what software empowers people to do. So software is extremely easy to use for anyone within the organization to build the tools that they would have to rely on developers otherwise. So I want to take a step back and share where we are with software today. Software launched, the actual application builder, only launched about 2 years ago, so that's not that long. And then we have evolved the platform quite a lot since then. So our mission has always been to empower people to create software, anyone. And to achieve that mission, we believe that the platform has to be simple and powerful at the same time. And it's really, in order to make that possible, so what's really, like a question actually, I get quite a lot asked from VCs I talk to or candidates I interview over and over again is, what is the biggest challenge of building software? And I think my answer kept staying consistent as the years passed by. it's the biggest challenge of creating such an intuitive and easy to use platform is actually figuring out how do you turn these technical concepts and very technical complex systems into something that's extremely simple to use, at the same time doesn't really require you understanding how technology works, because most of the people do not have that understanding, do not have that expertise. So I think, and that's a challenge that keeps coming back every day. It's not like you solve it once and then you are done. Every new powerful feature you add, which is actually technical, and you have to turn into UX, you have to balance and figure out what is the right balance between customizability and constraints to keep it simple. So with software building, software application building on its own is quite a complex system with lots of moving parts. However, there is 3 main components to it. And if you ask every engineer, they know this by heart. So first, a database, basically a place to store and manage your entire application's data and have them easily accessible, secure, and be able to manage that easily. Design and layout, it's the UI interface that uses to represent all of this data to the users in a UI, user-friendly, and an intuitive manner, so that people can interact with the interfaces, manage data, navigate pages, etc. And then logic and user authentication, which is basically the logic, the users, the rules, the actions that really govern the application's behavior and functions. So we want software to excel in all of this. And we have been hard at work for the past 2 years to make this possible, and I want to share where we are today with this. So on the database side, first, data agnostic. We are now data agnostic, and what that means is we have launched with Airtable being the backend and early on, and then we have expanded that to Google Sheets, Smartsheet launching just today, HubSpot and Google BigQuery coming soon. Delightful, simple, and fun building experience. We want the building experience not just be getting your job done, but we also want it to be fun. And while you couldn't say the same thing about software early on, and we still have a we still have lots of work to do to make it even easier, but I'm really proud of where we are today with the building experience. In fact, software very often gets involved into the list of top no-code, 5 no-code tools to start your no-code journey with. Mobile. It's not just easy and fast to build your app with software. At the same time, it's also very easy to just turn it into a mobile app with a click of a button. Templates, templates, 70+ templates. We want to help our customers to kickstart their building journey and also to do a lot of the work for them. So we have launched 70+ templates for different industries, different use cases to help them do the job easier. And also 100+ building blocks for the most common patterns and functionalities to help them visualize their data and to get to the end state much faster without having to build it from scratch themselves. So very often we get associated with Canva, with being called as Canva of no-code, Canva of web apps, and that is really, that helps us reaffirm that we are on the right journey, which means people using Canva here probably recognize because Canva basically what they did is they completely reimagined and empowered everyone to build designs without having to be a designer. So logic and user authentication is the third component. And over the last years, we have launched powerful functionality on the application building and logic side, which also helps build any size of businesses, helps build them sophisticated portals and internal tool applications. So some of that being action buttons as one example. So those are the action buttons on your interface in your application that let you perform direct database operations like creating, updating, deleting information. User groups and permissions. So you can define your custom user groups with pretty granular detail of permissions of what each user can access, can manage in the application depending on their access levels. Forms 2.0, this one is exciting, I think for lots of also customers. Basically, think of this as replacing the need to use any other external form builder. It's launching, coming soon, but it's a form builder with conditional logic, multiple pages, and a workflow builder as well. And multiple ways to visualize and interact with your data in a more powerful way, like charts. We launched it early on, kept iterating, and now with these types of blogs, you can also build entire dashboards and reporting like applications. Calendars and Kanbans to visualize data, build different project management tools, or basically to customize the workflows to your needs specifically. Collaborators and workspaces. So it's easier than ever now to collaborate with your team members as well as external partners or agencies in a more organized workspace manner and much easier. We have also now 30+ integrations that help you extend your functionality beyond what software offers, including Zapier and Make, which make it especially more powerful just because they help you connect and do actions outside your Airtable and software ecosystem. And you can connect simply to 6,000+ external third-party applications as well through them. So our mission with software is not just build an intuitive no-code platform, but it goes beyond that, and we want to build the biggest no-code ecosystem, which means for all of the people to come, discover, create, and share their no-code apps with the community. Over the past years, software's growth mainly has been fueled by the community. Every day we see thousands of applications built by creators, shared with the community, and it's mind-blowing what types of things they're building. In June this year, we launched Software Universe, which is a place for creators to share and use templates created by the community members. And I'm sure many of the community members, I have seen them as well, are sitting here. And I want to extend my thank you to all of them for making this possible. We have also been listed as G2 leader in several categories, and we have also got became number one product of the year last year. So truly, our goal is really to make software building 100 times easier, faster, and cheaper. So to illustrate that point, let me share 2 examples of our customers, how they're leveraging software and what's the impact that software is having on their organizations. First, American Institute of Research. It's world's largest institute of research, behavioral science research organizations, and they have thousands of researchers in their network, and they are doing hundreds of projects every year. So they have been using, before software actually, the biggest challenge they had was how do they manage all of this information, all of the researchers' skills, understand who is best suitable for what types of products. They have been doing everything manually. So with software, they have built an employee portal where it's really easily they can display all of this information from the researchers, let them showcase their skill sets, categorize them, and have it easily searchable and filterable. So that helps them to do several things. First, it helps them to, well, first of all, let the researchers self-serve through the platform, choose what projects they want to join, and also work with other people. It helps them as well to be able to easily allocate and more effortlessly, but also efficiently in a timely manner to know which researchers should join or be allocated to a specific project. So another example I want to share is from a venture capital fund. So Equity is one of the biggest venture capital funds internationally, and they are investing in private equity, growth equity, and venture capital in Europe. They have built an entire founder portal platform to manage their founders' information and let the founders self-serve, so logging into the application, get access to all of the resources, get access to the network of VCs, manage jobs, share jobs, etc. So it's basically, think of it as knowledge hub for the portfolio companies. So also over the last year, we have seen a tremendous growth in generative AI tools. And you can do things that is mind-blowing. It has completely shifted the way we are thinking and working online. From generating images, generating texts, to even generating websites. I'm sure many of you have used or seen these website generators, and they're doing an amazing job. And it's now possible to even basically generate your entire marketing website with it. And with software, so we haven't been resting either. We actually been the first no-code platform to introduce OpenAI integration last December. And we have seen amazing applications already out of that. It's not, and it goes beyond just generating images and text. And people are building things like entire applications, SaaS applications like Jasper AI, Copy AI, to manage, to have their own clients and to let their end users to leverage the data and generate images and text. So 2 examples brought here. One is Grower. It gives an expert advice on anything related to growth planting. And WorkScout AI, it's a job platform for job seekers to find jobs in the AI companies, and as well as generate job applications with AI and do a lot more. So however, it's basics, right? You generate text, images, and websites, and AI is helping us to really get some of the manual tasks, to automate some of those tasks or do it for us. But what's next? I believe that the promise of AI is really to 100x our capability and let us do things that we couldn't do before at scale. Now imagine, what if you could build an entire app with just a prompt? Full stack application, like the databases, the front end, the business logic, user groups and permissioning, all of that. Now you can, introducing Software AI. It's the first AI application builder that lets you build entire applications like portals, internal tools, anything else really, with just a prompt. So let's see how that works. You simply describe your text or the application idea, and you can use as many details as you like to help AI make better decisions. Something like client portal for a consultancy firm to track clients, project status all in one place. You choose your desired theme, colors, and you click generate. Now, what it does on the background, it generates the entire application for you. So it's generating the database structures, generating all of the copy based on your prompt, so contextual copy. It generates the front end, understanding what you want to build and generating all of the front end building blocks and pieces. Creates the actions and the logic in between, as well as creates multiple user groups and permissions, and lets you log into the app with different user groups having access and doing different things with the platform. So as you're waiting, it's generating, and now we have the app up and running. So literally, you generate an app from a prompt in seconds. With that said, we're going to have on our booth, next to our booth, we're going to have the platform open, so feel free to come over and test it out. So, some examples, I just shared a bit, but to go into more details, portals, CRMs, team intranets, inventory management, anything really. It really contextually depends on what kind of prompt you are adding. So, what's next? We believe that beyond, it definitely will have to go beyond this. So this is kind of the first step of generating your entire application from scratch. Soon after, we're also going to introduce you having your own database and connecting that to the application builder. So the AI is even more contextual, understands even more contextually what to build on top of that. So what's the future holding for all of us? In 2011, Andreessen Horowitz famously said, software is eating the world. Last year, we said no-code is eating the world, which I think all of us agreed last year. This year, I think we can safely say AI is eating the world. And in the next, I think when you combine these two paradigms, that's to me the most powerful that can happen in the future, because by combining both, you get the best of both worlds. And this is really, truly what I believe is going to empower anyone to become a builder 100 times even faster. Thank you. Any questions?
Don't be shy.
Sorry, we can't hear you, I think, on the back. Or maybe they're speaking on the phone.
Sorry.
Thank you for the presentation. Very nice.
Thank you.
So my question goes to the new AI. Are there any limitations? Could you build anything? SaaS products, big marketplaces, etc.?
Good question. So actually, funny enough, in software, marketplaces is such a common use case, even though we're not even sharing that on the website. So you can, with software, generally speaking, you can build anything. Obviously, there are constraints and limitations, and it fits best for certain use cases better than the others. And I would say marketplaces are not our top use case, and we're not necessarily building functionality for that use case or extending the functionality. We do offer payments, Stripe payments, that you can build your marketplace right now also on top of that, but we don't really go beyond that. So with the AI, you can't integrate payments, but if you want to build a two-sided marketplace with different user groups, etc., you can do that. Of course, it's also the first version, and we are testing this out for a while. And then as we go, we're adding more and more nuances, details. So AI, from outside, it seems like magic. It is magic, but in the end, there is like heavy technology and engineering involved in making it perfecting to the specific use cases. So not specific use cases, but really to make it work and in lots of edge cases. So that's something that, yes, as we go, we will keep improving.
Thanks. Great presentation.
Thank you.
Quick question. You spoke about being able to turn what you build into a mobile version. Is that like a hybrid app, mobile web responsive, or is it native?
No, it's not native. It's progressive web app. So what we have found is, it's a good question, because there is also lots of tools to generate just native mobile apps. What we have found, especially with our customers, they usually don't need mobile native apps. They just need the mobile apps for especially their field workers or people who are still their workers, but they are not in the office, they're not using computer. So in those cases, they can simply just use the same app with all of the same functionality on the go, basically.
Hello, I'm from a system integrator, and we use low-code, no-code for solutions for our customers. But we noticed that there is a kind of border for using this kind of tools. When you, for example, build like very complex software with 250 tables, hundreds of screens, thousands of business rules, it gets quite unmanageable. For example, if you use Mendix with microflows, it's not doable. So what's your vision on low code for these kinds of systems?
Yeah, good question. Well, I think, first of all, there is the scalability aspect on the database and then the front end. The database, right now, we don't have our own database. We actually intentionally are integrating with external data sources because we see that that's where customers already store their data. So that question goes rather on the database side. If people, let's say, use Airtable and they cannot scale it beyond a certain point, they have to switch to other places. So in that regard, we want to connect to any type of data source that really helps customers to bring the data from anywhere. And then on the front end side, that's definitely on our end, and we want to make the platform in a way that it's scalable. So our own platform, some of our applications have hundreds of pages and building blocks, thousands of building blocks in those pages. So it is working. I think it's back to the scalability of the application. But in the end, also, I think the more core question is, what are the typical applications that are going to be built with no-code apps? Well, there is, of course, lots of companies and lots of also no-code companies that help people build their core product, where there is going to be millions of users running on the platform. I think for us, the core use cases where we have seen the biggest value within businesses is really helping them build the tools that they couldn't build, that developers are never going to be able to have the time to build it even. So developers should rather focus on the core business applications, what's really bringing the value to customers, and everything else, which is almost 99% of the other software in the organization, is something that also a lot of the times doesn't exist. That's what we want to be able for all of the others, empower them to build. So those are typically not the million request type applications, which is fine, but I think that's where we see the business value. Biggest business value.
Hey, Myra. Great presentation.
Thank you.
Here from Bardeen, and I have a question about the software AI. Is it thought out more as this onboarding experience to get head started into the tool faster, or is it going to be a core part of the experience to help users kind of streamline and build faster and edit faster as they build their apps?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, this version is to help you kickstart to build the first version, not yet integrated into the building experience in the sense that you can click a new app within the platform and now use AI. So that's next step. That's definitely in the plan. And the way we see this is we want this to help you, 70, 80% at least to get you ahead of the time, ahead of your building, while templates have been doing that already to an extent, but templates are just templates, static, one-way template. But if you can have it more custom and more personalized, obviously it's going to be much more useful. And then, of course, adding on top of that, adding your own databases, so bringing your database and then using AI generation to build that, so you would almost have like 80, 90%, if not all the application ready for you to go at first, from the first try. So definitely will be integrated in the overall experience, and long-term, also, I think a lot more other parts will be inside the product to help leverage more of the AI.
Just follow up there. Would you be able to build with AI upon a database? Like, I have this database, I want you to build an app upon this structure?
Yes, totally. That's next step.
Okay, awesome.
Then
hello. I want to join my friend there for his question when he asked about the integration from like the constraints and when we can't have a bigger application with this kind of no-code builders. So one time we're gonna try to build a software with software, for example, and then we're gonna want to scale it a lot more. So there you answered for how to integrate with other databases and all that. Is there a way, if you want to transition to another, to code or something else, to completely transition? Is it in the plan, or how can we find the solution for that?
Customize even further. Yeah, so we don't plan to kind of export the code because I think the main value of no-code platforms that we see is it has to become a tool, kind of day-to-day building your app, and just because it kind of doesn't serve the point. If you have to export, then it means it becomes technical. You have to involve engineers have to spend time on maintaining, continuing to build on top of that. So we want to have the platform completely basically out of the box, and it's just a tool for you to build something if you need it. And the way we want to let people extend it is, yes, definitely next step as part of the ecosystem is also going to be another initiative, which is building a component marketplace, what that means is letting anyone, developers or more code savvy people, build their own components or building blocks, because we can't possibly offer all of the building blocks and people have very unique needs. So we will let them build their own components, put it on the marketplace or internally for their other team members, and then reuse that in the application. So that way we will let them extend the functionality beyond what we offer.
Is there maybe one last question? Okay.
There's one more question here. What do you mean by... I see. It's a good question. So right now we're not asking, everything that you're going to use in software. Basically, you don't need to care about pricing. We pay for that. So I don't know how it will evolve in the future. It's something that we have to still figure out. AI is also new and they might change their pricing structures as well. So I think we'll see as we grow, but definitely we want AI to be kind of inherently into the application building flow and not something that you have to, purchase tens of tools to use with software, but it really be part of the building experience. So yeah, that's kind of the goal, and we'll see where we get to with the pricing.
I'm quite new to no code and everything.
But what differentiates Software from other programs like Bubble? Is it the AI aspect or something else?
Not really. So good question. So anyone going into the no-code space, there's just too many tools every day launching something new on product hand. And it's a good question. So actually Bubble and ourselves are not really doing the same thing in the sense that we're not targeting same types of customers, not targeting same experience of building, and same, I guess, also use cases. So Bubble is much more powerful in terms of customization on what you can build, but at the same time with that power comes also technical difficulty, right? So when someone goes into the platform, they have to build everything from scratch, all of the elements, you know, the business logic and all of that. Think of software as Lego, basically Lego kit. We give you the Lego pieces, the modules that already come in pre-built with the functionality. Like you can literally drag and drop a sign-in, sign-up blog, publish your app, and your users can start signing up. So you as a user, you don't need to care about what's happening on the database. How do I create this? What does it minimum for the user to log in into the app? So all of that is handled for you. So the way we think about app building is it has to be extremely simple and intuitive, really easy for you within the first 30 minutes to have your app up and running. And then at the same time as well, I think use case-wise, we're more focused around business application use cases, etc. Maybe Bubble also changed their use case, like specifically if that's also a direction, but we are very focused on application or business use cases, even though the platform is completely open and it empowers really anyone to build lots of different apps. I mean, we have people building marketplaces, community hubs, and resource directories, and everything else. Okay, that's it. If no questions, then thank you very much. Thank you so much. Feel free to come to our booth and try our AI app builder.
Thank you, Mariam. We're going to have a short 30-minute break, and we're going to be back after that. Thank you. Do you want some water? Okay, because we have some bottles here if you want one.
Fine. I'll take from there. Or I can take this one. Thank you so much.
Do you have
est le premier logiciel de gestion complet 100% no-code. Les modules CRM, vente, achat, stock sont écrits en no-code pour apporter une souplesse unique sans programmation. Et vous pouvez vous-même ajouter ce nouveau champ dans votre ERP. Ça y est, c'est déjà fonctionnel. Simax vous permet de modifier les formules de calcul vous-même et de façon intuitive. Simplifiez-vous la vie en ajoutant des traitements automatisés. Cela vous permettra de remplacer des tâches répétitives et gagner en productivité.
Our team didn't need a new way to work. We needed a smarter way, so we switched to SmartSuite. SmartSuite helps us manage every process in our company. It makes our work simpler, smoother, and, well, smarter. SmartSuite isn't just another task management program. It's a work management platform that allows us to collaborate right where the work is being done. Not only can we assign tasks, set priorities, and manage workflows, we can even track company goals, perform analytics, and share data with different teams and departments. It's super easy to use, totally customizable, and with over 150 templates to choose from, there's a process for every project. It even comes in 15 different languages. Best part? I don't need a million open tabs and random programs just to do my job. It's all right there. We use SmartSuite to manage everything, and I mean everything. Sales, marketing, HR, customer support, product development, project management, just to name a few. With SmartSuite, getting our work done is so much easier that we're getting more work done and enjoying what we do too. It's no wonder our entire company is on board. So switch to SmartSuite and work smarter, not harder. Give it a try at smartsuite.com. Any process, any industry, one platform.
Wherever you are full of ideas. Ideas to change your life, your community, and your world. Our mission is to equip people just like you to become active creators. Now is the time to turn your idea into an app. Let's build something great together. Create custom mobile apps without code on Thunkable.
What if you could push a button and see your website traffic and conversion increase instantly? Discover Weglot and the impact of translating your website. Add a language switcher in minutes and start getting visitors from all over the world with your multilingual website. Easily manage your translations with your team or professional translators. Weglot, the easiest way to translate your website.
Build custom applications for your unique business needs faster using our intuitive drag-and-drop interface. Integrate with an ecosystem of 500 plus applications and perform actions without needing to write a single line of code. Visualize your data and gain insights on the go using analytics. Automate your business processes using blueprints to solve complex issues in real time from anywhere in the world.
Max est le premier logiciel de gestion complet 100% no-code. Les modules CRM, vente, achat, stock sont écrits en no-code pour apporter une souplesse unique sans programmation. Et vous pouvez vous-même ajouter ce nouveau champ dans votre ERP. Ça y est, c'est déjà fonctionnel. Max vous permet de modifier les formules de calcul vous-même et de façon intuitive. Simplifiez-vous la vie en ajoutant des traitements automatisés. Cela vous permettra de remplacer des tâches répétitives et gagner en productivité.
Our team didn't need a new way to work. We needed a smarter way, so we switched to SmartSuite. SmartSuite helps us manage every process in our company. It makes our work simpler, smoother, and, well, smarter. SmartSuite isn't just another task management program. It's a work management platform that allows us to collaborate right where the work is being done. Not only can we assign tasks, set priorities, and manage workflows, we can even track company goals, perform analytics, and share data with different teams and departments. It's super easy to use, totally customizable, and with over 150 templates to choose from, there's a process for every project. It even comes in 15 different languages. Best part? I don't need a million open tabs and random programs just to do my job. It's all right there. We use SmartSuite to manage everything, and I mean everything. Sales, marketing, HR, customer support, product development, project management, just to name a few. With SmartSuite, getting our work done is so much easier that we're getting more work done and enjoying what we do, too. It's no wonder our entire company is on board. So switch to SmartSuite and work smarter, not harder. Give it a try at smartsuite.com. Any process, any industry, one platform.
Wherever you are full of ideas. Ideas to change your life, your community, and your world. Our mission is to equip people just like you to become active creators. Now is the time to turn your idea into an app. Let's build something great together. Create custom mobile apps without code on Thunkable.
What if you could push a button and see your website traffic and conversion increase instantly? Discover Weglot and the impact of translating your website. Add a language switcher in minutes and start getting visitors from all over the world with your multilingual website. Easily manage your translations with your team or professional translators. Weglot, the easiest way to translate your website.
Build custom applications for your unique business needs faster using our intuitive drag-and-drop interface. Integrate with an ecosystem of 500 plus applications and perform actions without needing to write a single line of code. Visualize your data and gain insights on the go using analytics. Automate your business processes using blueprints to solve complex issues in real time from anywhere in the world.
logiciel de gestion complet 100% NoCode. Les modules CRM, vente, achat, stock sont écrits en NoCode pour apporter une souplesse unique sans programmation. Et vous pouvez vous-même ajouter ce nouveau champ dans votre ERP. Ça y est, c'est déjà fonctionnel. Simax vous permet de modifier les formules de calcul vous-même et de façon intuitive. Simplifiez-vous la vie en ajoutant des traitements automatisés. Cela vous permettra de remplacer des tâches répétitives et gagner en productivité.
Our team didn't need a new way to work. We needed a smarter way, so we switched to SmartSuite. SmartSuite helps us manage every process in our company. It makes our work simpler, smoother, and, well, smarter. SmartSuite isn't just another task management program. It's a work management platform that allows us to collaborate right where the work is being done. Not only can we assign tasks, set priorities, and manage workflows, we can even track company goals, perform analytics, and share data with different teams and departments. It's super easy to use, totally customizable, and with over 150 templates to choose from, there's a process for every project. It even comes in 15 different languages. Best part? I don't need a million open tabs and random programs just to do my job. It's all right there. We use SmartSuite to manage everything, and I mean everything. Sales, marketing, HR, customer support, product development, project management, just to name a few. With SmartSuite, getting our work done is so much easier that we're getting more work done and enjoying what we do too. It's no wonder our entire company is on board. So switch to SmartSuite and work smarter, not harder. Give it a try at smartsuite.com. Any process, any industry, one platform.
Wherever you are full of ideas. Ideas to change your life, your community, and your world. Our mission is to equip people just like you to become active creators. Now is the time to turn your idea into an app. Let's build something great together. Create custom mobile apps without code on Thunkable.
What if you could push a button and see your website traffic and conversion increase instantly? Discover Weglot and the impact of translating your website. Add a language switcher in minutes and start getting visitors from all over the world with your multilingual website. Easily manage your translations with your team or professional translators. Weglot, the easiest way to translate your website.
Build custom applications for your unique business needs faster using our intuitive drag-and-drop interface. Integrate with an ecosystem of 500 plus applications and perform actions without needing to write a single line of code. Visualize your data and gain insights on the go using analytics. Automate your business processes using blueprints to solve complex issues in real time from anywhere in the world.
Symax est le premier logiciel de gestion complet 100% no-code. Les modules CRM, vente, achat, stock sont écrits en no-code pour apporter une souplesse unique sans programmation. Et vous pouvez vous-même ajouter ce nouveau champ dans votre ERP. Ça y est, c'est déjà fonctionnel. Symax vous permet de modifier les formules de calcul vous-même et de façon intuitive. Simplifiez-vous la vie en ajoutant des traitements automatisés. Cela vous permettra de remplacer des tâches répétitives et gagner en productivité.
Hello everyone, for our second and last conference on the master stage for Allegria, who's going to be about is AI the ultimate level of abstraction for no-code from visual programming to using natural language in the software creation process. Please give a warm welcome to Allegria Group CIO, Lucien Tavano.
Hi, that's good. You can hear two conferences at the same time. So I think it's it's efficient. Yeah, you can. Yeah, welcome everyone. Thanks for coming through to this a bit geeky talk, and I hope you will have an interesting conversation. I just wanted to set the tone with a few observations before I call on my fellow speakers to the stage. And I want you to put your adventurer hat on, because together, today, this morning, we are going to explore. I'm not sure you can really see the text below because of the couches and stuff. But let's explore, and let's explore a world with AI, where not just you have not just de-aging technology that becomes extremely, extremely convincing. Go see the movie just for the tech aspect of it. But where you really see AI everywhere, and everywhere for us today. We'll focus obviously in the no-code world, on the no-code world. You've seen obviously AI come into your life through chat interfaces. I chose to put here Pi. You know ChatGPT too much already. This one is really cool. You want to try it. But you've seen and you've interacted with AI. For most of us, it's been the first interface we interfaced with AI with. Second, and this is where we also took a lot of productivity out of it, is using AI as a co-pilot, as the term has been coined and reused by GitHub and Microsoft. Most of us here have used it in Notion, and this has been like life-changing for a lot of us. And we see also now, AI being thrown at us as an assistant. This is an actual email I received in preparation for a meeting, where it's just informing me that there's going to be this AI joining the meeting and doing whatever AI stuff. And what we're going to focus on this morning, all these AI, I would say, embedded applications within every product we use now. We're going to focus on this morning on really what AI is going to change for us no-coders, right? And how it's going to change from visual point and click to actually expressing it with natural language, with the way we talk, expressing what we need to be built, and having guys like them building it automatically for us. The idea behind this is like, we've seen more and more abstraction level at the beginning, obviously for developers first, and with NoCode, we've seen the first level of abstraction for business people, for everybody. So is AI coming on top of this, or how does it play with NoCode? And this is what we're going to explore this morning. The result is we're probably here in the history of software creation, where we can expect, an explosion. We are at an inflection point. Initially, we might have thought it was because of NoCode. Obviously, it's still slow to take off. But with AI, is this going to actually happen? Let's welcome to the stage to explore all this. So unfortunately, we have a last-minute cancellation this morning from Emil from Actioner, so she can't be with us today. But I'm really happy to welcome to the stage now Taha from Eden AI. So Taha is the CEO. Please come to the stage. Is the CEO of Eden AI, and briefly, but he'll talk about it much better than me, obviously. Eden AI is an AI models aggregator and orchestrator, and they allow you to use all AI models, all the main AI models from a single API. So they take all the burden out of us and make it easy for us to just leverage any models, really. And second guest with us this morning is Dan Spooner from Photoroom. Photoroom, you might have heard of them yesterday already in our NoCoders game. So Photoroom is the most popular AI-powered photo editing mobile app. You can try if you're bored during the talk. And we're going to talk specifically how they make it that easy and how they got to that success. And especially from a product standpoint with Dan today. All right, let's begin. No more slides. That was it for this morning. Thanks, guys, for joining me. Let me grab here. So we've talked a bit about briefly when I introduced you what each of you does, but I want obviously to further set the stage of what you do before we dive into the topic. Taha, your value prop, as I said in a nutshell, is that you grant access to these most popular AI models from a single API, and that's not all of what you do, right? That's just the tip of the iceberg. Can you elaborate a bit more on what you allow specifically no-coders to do with Eden AI?
Sure. Hi everyone. As Lucien said, I'm the CEO of Eden AI. So maybe let me explain the context and the environment we are evolving in. So as you may know, there are many new AI models around. Everyone is talking about OpenAI, but there are many of them doing multiple things. Some of them are used to generate text, to parse document, to translate from a language to another, and to remove background for images. And all these models are developed by a lot of companies around the world. We do believe in Eden AI that the market will be full of this type of models with different addressing different type of AI tasks with different accuracies, different costs, different latencies, and with meeting various types of needs. So here's like basically what we do think. We don't think that there will be at some point, like at least not for the next few years, general AI models that can meet all the needs. If you consider at least the cost, for example, or the latency, etc. So starting from that, this observation, we started building Eden AI, which is first platform where we are gathering all the AI models, the best AI models available in the market. Right now we are partnering with more than 50 AI providers, and we are organizing all this through multiple AI tasks for 5 categories: image and video analysis, text analysis, speech recognition, document parsing, machine translation, and of course generative AI. So for each AI task, you will have access to competing AI models. So the users have all the flexibility to choose the right models, which mean like maybe the cheapest one, the more accurate, the quickest one, etc. The second part of our product is that we are helping our users choosing the right models automatically, like depending on what's important for them. And the last one, the more technical one, is what we call the in-production reliability. Because when you are using an external API, it can be quite dangerous because you are relying on an external technology. So we are developing a number of tools to make this usage the more reliable possible. Very quick example is a fallback strategy. Like when you are using our API, you can say, okay, I will use Cohere as main text generation API, but OpenAI as a second, as like the second one. And just to answer your question about NoCode, we launched, thanks to Allegria, in fact, we started discussions with you guys, plugins on Make, Bubble. We have a lot of users on both platforms, Zapier also, and other NoCode platforms. Right now we have more than 30,000 users of the platform, mainly the US, even if we are in Lyon, in Villeurbanne, for the people who know Lyon. Our main market is the US, the second one is India. And 30% of all those users are in fact no-coders.
Oh, interesting, yeah. Just to make sure people have your products in mind, what's the wine liner exactly, like that sticks to the mind?
You mean about Eden?
Oh, Eden AI.
AI made easy for product builders.
Okay, all right. Perfect, thanks Ta. And next to Ta we have Dan. So Dan, Photoroom makes it easy as pie to remove backgrounds, apply custom ones, add text, shadows, etc. Your service can also be leveraged, and that's what we hear, programmatically, right? So you have this consumer app, but we can also use your service programmatically, like we did yesterday for the NoCoders game. Can you tell us what your clients use Photoroom for the most, and why the preferred solution? Maybe you can give some numbers about usage. I think that's quite impressive. So can you tell us really what sets you apart?
Sure. Does it work? Does that work? Oh, wow, sorry. Hey everyone, yeah, my name's Dan. I work at Photoroom, and I mainly focus on collaboration tools. So that's Teams using Photoroom and the API and business side. So for anyone that doesn't know what Photoroom is a image editing app, primarily a mobile application, which is used by individuals and small teams. We have 100 million downloads at this stage. So it's pretty pervasive in our main markets also, the US, which I think is interesting. And then we also have our web application, which allows larger teams to scale their product photography. So that could be removing backgrounds or using our templates, adding text, adding a logo into the bottom corner. And we have our API, which is probably the most useful thing to talk about in this setting. The API is being used by a number of marketplaces mainly, that being Wolt, which is part of DoorDash, Shopify, and increasingly being used for marketing activations. Marketing activations such as the Barbie campaign, which was where you could put yourself in Barbie land, which was a campaign run by Warner Brothers, and that had 13 million impressions, which was huge. And we've since done another campaign with Warner Brothers on the Expendables film. And yeah, so essentially marketplaces use it to automate their product photography. So that could be cleaning up images, putting it on a white background, adding a logo to the corner programmatically. It speeds up the time to list an item, which is really important for those businesses, by about 89%, and obviously dramatically reduces costs from having a photo shoot for a product or a food item, for example. So yeah, so the main purposes at the moment are marketing campaigns and activations, and for companies selling things. So that could be marketplaces, e-commerce, or resellers.
All right, great. So I have a couple of questions for them, but don't hesitate to also ask questions. I think there's a mic that can circulate for the room, so feel free. And because the questions that I have, they've seen it already, so they are kind of prepared to answer them. But it's good to have spontaneous questions. So I'm not sure you guys work together yet. So my first question is for Ta. Ta, how do you decide which AI models to add to your platform or to your like criteria, especially as AI models keep like popping up, new ones everywhere, and outperform each other? So how would you screen Photorooms API and Photorooms AI models? I know right now you're using Dan some sort of like funnel combining stability AI models, and you're working on your own thing. You might tell us more about this. But how would you screen Photorooms AI solution and decide whether or not to integrate it on your platform, offer it on your platform?
So, in fact, I didn't discuss with the Photoroom team, but Jeremy, who is with me here, discussed with someone in your team after we did a webinar with Bubble. So, for information, we started discussion. So, yes, to answer the question, how we are adding new models and new AI tasks. So we started having very general, covering very general AI needs like speech recognition, machine translation, etc. And basically, we have like very nice, like quite a lot of users right now. And basically, they're just asking for. And I can tell you, for example, yesterday I had a meeting with a company based in London, and they were asking for if we could add a model that can detect if the quality of an image is good enough or not. I don't know if you provide this or not. Like,
maybe.
Okay.
Maybe we're working on it. I'm not sure.
Okay. So here's basically how it happens. Like we discuss our users. They're looking to perform some tasks. We say, okay, this is interesting for a lot of users, and then we try to figure out which are the providers who are covering this market. Usually what we prefer doing is adding multiple models at the same time, because it doesn't make sense to only have one choice on EDNA, since our value proposition is having the flexibility to choose among multiple users. So here's basically how we are doing this.
Because in your position, you are a curator, right, of those AI models. So I guess eventually you could have hundreds or thousands of models. So what's going to be the strategy there? Are you going to phase out also some models at some point?
So we are of course testing all the models. So something very important for us is to have like high quality models. So it's limitation. So we're not adding a lot of them. Something also very new, in fact, is that the last 4 API, like the provider, they added themselves on Eden AI. So for us, we have very quick integration, because there is like an open source version of Eden AI really made for people who would like to connect their APIs to Eden AI.
All right. And Dan, on your side, for no-coders specifically, what key decisions have you made, or no-coders, or let's say, talk about also your consumer, and to some extent, like, what key decisions have you made to the Photoroom, either product or API specifically, to make it easy for those unfamiliar at the beginning with AI or APIs to use your service? I'm asking the product guy here.
Sure. So, I mean, thinking about the API for a second. So we have 3 different APIs. We have remove background, which is probably our most popular API. We have the edit image API, which allows you to crop an image, add blur, add padding, that sort of thing. And we have the generate backgrounds API, which uses generative AI to generate a background. And we split them into 3 APIs. I think we're looking at possibly unifying those into one single call. I think that would make a lot of sense and make things easier for developers using Photorooms API. And in order to configure those APIs, you can create a template within the web app on Photorooms, so you can preview what your image is going to look like before you implement it in your app. So we have a very simple front end that allows you to configure where the image is going to be placed, what the background color is going to be, the padding, where your logo is going to be placed, that sort of thing. And then you can visualize that before you start using the API. And then once you implement the API, hopefully, if the user inputs a good-looking image, it should look great. On the consumer side, for us, our main focus is on improving the prompts that users add to the app. So earlier this year, we added the instant backgrounds feature, which allows you to generate a background behind your image using generative AI. Now, as we all know, the discrepancy between what you enter into a model, and what you get back is challenging and hard to convey to users. So we're spending a lot of time thinking about how we allow users to add prompts to generate backgrounds that actually look good and help them convert their sales.
Got it. I think you anticipated slightly on my next point. Maybe you're gonna. So maybe you can be the first to answer and elaborate further. So we've seen AI impacting no-code programming specifically from different ways. I was showing some examples as an introduction earlier, but we see natural language, so AI powered no coding with natural language to no code. So you express what you want. In natural language, using natural language, you get out something no-coded, right? Like a scenario with make or something. We've seen embedded generative feature. That's what you were talking about. Like within the interface of the solution, I'm able to use generative AI directly. We've seen also the co-pilot thing that help you, and also AI assistant that helps you use a no-code tool. We've seen that arrive in WeWeb, for instance, and some other tools. So specifically, each of you, so you talked a bit about the generative feature within Photoroom, and any plan to add other stuff within what I mentioned or other that you might come up with?
Yeah, I think for now the focus is really on getting the API experience right. So I think we've been getting a lot of feedback from users, such as the folks in this room, and understanding how we can improve that experience and making sure we're really embedded in the workflows that we need to be embedded within. So if we think about one of our sort of case studies, which is Silenci, which is a marketplace, they interact with 4 other different services as part of their solution. We need to make sure that we're within that workflow and we're interacting with the right things. So that's really our focus right now. Personally, I think there's a huge opportunity of finding a way to bring this into an assistant. We're not working on that today, but I think it could be a huge unlock. I think, again, it really comes down to that thing I was just talking about input-output experience and how we can really improve the prompt experience to be user-friendly enough so that people are happy with the result they get from an assistant such as that. Because we all know that the first experience you have with a piece of software like that, if the output is bad, you're not going to use it again. You're going to churn. So I think that's really where we're going to spend our time.
Got it. Are you considering also any ChatGPT plugin or stuff like that? Or anybody could do it on your behalf, I guess.
So we have other plugins, not ChatGPT, but Figma is one of those, and Shopify is another. And I think we've seen a really good uptick in people using it within Figma and other design tools. So I think we're probably going to double down there before moving into NLP.
Got it. And Ta, on your side, within your product, so what are you doing?
Yes. So in fact, we added a new feature called Hidden AI Copilot. It's not very original, but the good thing with Copilot that everyone understands.
Yeah, exactly. It's good to use the term that everyone knows now.
So yes, because we have a lot of beginners in AI, using our platform, and we saw that some of them really struggle choosing the right AI task, AI model. So basically, when you go on our app, you can describe your AI project, saying yes, you want to maybe make an automation on make with document parsing, etc. So using that, we are able to recommend specific endpoints with specific models, showing the price and generating, if you are a developer, if you are a coder, the code that you can use directly in Python, JavaScript, etc. So we are ourselves using this on our interface because we have like the API, but we have also this developer platform, and it's something in fact, we didn't know that a lot of people would be using this. So we are quite happy with this feature.
So it's a feature that it's like really used by people, not just at the beginning that as a wow effect as an introduction to engineering.
People are really
even on a continuous basis as they use the tool. Okay, pretty interesting. All right, and if we look a bit further and look at the future here, what and I'm asking as much you personally as your company. It doesn't necessarily have to be your company's vision, but just your immediate thought. Like, what do you foresee like the future can be that is like beyond what we already see, that is already embedded into the so what is not in your roadmap, basically, I would say, is a question. And what would you add if you didn't have to negotiate with the team, or for no coders in general? And so what do you think is going to further impact programming, and what is AI going to bring into this for no coders? Who wants to take it first?
Ken? Yes. We are working on like low-code products integrated on Eden AI, because we noted that some of our users were using our API but developing some stuff on top of it. So we started developing what we are calling Eden AI product, but in fact it's an API that you can use. And I can give you a very quick example for machine translation. We saw that some users started choosing specific provider per pair of language. So if you go in the app, you will see that you have an option when you can like orchestrate all this directly on the app. So we'll have this general machine translation API, where you can say, okay, to translate from English to French, I can use DeepL, but for this specific language, I prefer to use this provider, and I have this provider as a fallback. So we are really trying, since our users are like mainly no-coders and people who are not really AI experts, we are doing our best to offer them the best user experience when they are integrating our API. So here's our roadmap, like building, because we have right now nice API, people like using it, production, etc. So our next challenge is, okay, how we can help them further to monitor all this.
And are you thinking about some crazy stuff, like they would just upload a picture of the process they have in mind, and you would like auto-magically generate stuff? Like, what's really, I mean, in your, like, what are your shower thoughts about this, you know?
It could work, in fact.
Oh, okay.
But we are like really in the beginning of this orchestration thing, but at some point maybe, yes, you can draw, I don't know, we can discuss this later, but not right now for the moment.
Yeah, sure. We're dreaming here. Yeah, and then on what side? On your side, maybe on the consumer side, what are you thinking, or this user could next do with photo room? And my question is by default, I guess. And for the no coders, what would you dream your product embed to I would say maximize usage and adoption of photo room into workflows and stuff?
Yeah, so something that we're not working on, but I think is really important, is I speak to a lot of users who are doing the same thing repetitively using AI. So that might be that they're just replacing a certain part of their workflow, or every time they want to edit an image, they're doing exactly the same process on every image and just changing maybe a small thing here and there. And I think there's a huge opportunity for us to look at behavior and then automate off the back of the behavior, so the other way around. So instead of the user understanding what they want to do, we understand and then we do it for them. So that for me is like, I think a huge unlock, because it also explains to the user how they can use the tool. So it's like it's a double-edged sword on that one. So that for me is something that I don't think we're there from a technology perspective to be able to do that in a magic way yet. But I think that's going to be something I'd love to work on in the future. From the no-coder side, I think it's making our API super easy to use and the pricing accessible. I think we got feedback that maybe the pricing could be tweaked and simplified, and we can make sure it's accessible to no-coders in every organization, or if they're just doing their side hustle. So that for us is a huge unlock as well. So I think we'll be focusing on pricing, making the API really easy to integrate, and having great tutorials of how you can use it. And then also we're going to be adding a lot more functionality to the API that reflects the mobile app. So a lot of extra tools coming to the API, unifying it into one single call, and also making it maybe a bit cheaper.
Could we imagine at one point with your product that we would just prompt whatever we, in natural language, what we want the image to become, and we call on a single endpoint for everything? It's just like the prompt, the endpoint, and we get the modified picture, all natural language, no specific instructions beyond just that unstructured instructions.
I think that's definitely our North Star.
Okay.
Whether or not we're there yet is a different thing. I think there's also a piece of, what happens next to that image that I think is also exciting, right? Are you listing it somewhere? Are you posting it somewhere? Are you adding it to your Google Drive? How can we help that section as well, the onward journey, opposed to just creation of the photo?
Removing as much friction as possible.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Got it. And beyond your product, I guess you're looking at the whole market. What product can be like, but more specifically for no-code programmers, have you seen? You might not necessarily have this right in your mind, so no pressure, maybe the audience will have suggestions as well. But what product have you seen implementing, some things that really blew your mind in terms of AI for, either user onboarding, user adoption, users usage of the product that says, oh, they really cracked something here? Do you have something like this that you're like, oh, we need to do the same, or it's not applicable to us, but this is really cool?
I think for me, it's products that don't use the word AI. So I think anything that feels like a
Apple strategy.
Yeah, possibly. I think any product that's implementing useful features that isn't focused on just using AI as a buzzword to get from an acquisition perspective, and actually has found a problem they're solving, I think is super interesting. So Arc, which is I'm not sure if anyone uses Arc in here, but it's a new browser. They just launched Arc Max, which I suppose that's another buzzword, I suppose, in the AI space of branding. And they launched 5 really, really useful features off the back of it, and I think they were probably a bit shocked about how much usage they got and the cost associated with that usage. But the 5-second previews of a web page, so just hovering over a web page and being able to have a synopsis of like that web page in 5 seconds and seeing what you need to know. The automatic tab creation, there's a load of features in there that just simplify and make the web way more exciting to browse, and I think those are the products that make me excited. I mean, Notion is a great example, right? Like the being able to write a page off the back. Craft docs do a great job of that as well, generating a roadmap just with a prompt, which for me is really useful. Yeah, any thoughts?
In fact, right now, from what I see in our users, is that a lot of them still use old school AI right now. I think that we are like at a point where there are new generative AI tasks, etc. But we should keep in mind that a lot of companies, I mean, in the real world, are still using document parsing, speech recognition, very like classical AI
use
tasks.
cases, but like the most useful ones. Yeah.
So we have a lot of users who are playing around, trying Cohere, Anthropic, etc. for text generation, but the real usage, I mean, in terms of API calls, for example, is still very basic usage. I don't think that it will take some time to have very big, I mean, maybe for some big companies and tech companies like Notion, etc. But for the common companies, we don't see like usage of new AI things. I mean, like massive usage of this AI task for the moment, at least.
All right, and we'll have a few minutes for questions from the audience. I just wanted to give you the opportunity maybe to ask questions to each other if you have. So do you have maybe Dan a question for Tao, the other way around, a question for Dan?
I don't have a question, but just really be really happy to have your AI models on Eden AI, basically, because it seems very great. So, but we are working on this. So,
awesome. Let's have a coffee after.
Sure.
And, we're really happy to see the NoCode Summit being the opportunity, for different software providers to connect and make things happen. This has been the case with the previous edition. We've seen some great examples of Zano doing things with Bravo and WeWeb afterwards, so I hope it's going to be the same for you after today. And happy to open the floor to questions. I think we have yeah.
Can I ask a quick question?
Oh, yes, you can, yeah.
I'd love to know what the most surprising thing you've seen built with Eden AI is.
I don't know. We have very weird projects using Bubble, etc. Really weird chatbot, with I don't know. Jeremy can help me on that. There's some product I can really talk about it because it's like for adult.
Okay. I think we see the
I think you got
I shouldn't have asked this question.
Using API, we have, but like usually it's business softwares for for restaurants, but we have some weird projects sometimes.
Interestingly, that was one of my backup questions that I haven't used, was like what you do on the ethical standpoint, like because somehow you are allowing people to use those models, so I guess they're doing their jobs on their side, but as an aggregator, you have like a responsibility, or at least you're in a different position from them, that's seeing like what's the overall thing that your users are doing with the combination of those models. Did you do anything on this front yet? Or because you specifically that came back to my mind with the example you mentioned.
In fact, we have like a self-service model, so you can come on the app, start using our API. So and as I said, we have more than 1,000 sign-up per week right now, so we cannot really check each project. So for the moment, not yet, but at some point, maybe we'll check this.
Maybe as you grow, that might become something. Yeah. All right. Hey.
Hi. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. So we are here talking about basically abstraction and input to generate apps, which used to be code, then UI, and now prompts. So my experience is that prompts are very difficult to compose, and yeah, sometimes there are kind of random results, but in general it's very difficult. So what's any kind of thoughts you have about prompts generation? How can be improved? Even kind of socially, in terms of a company, or.
So if I understand your point correctly, it's like prompts are not the panacea to generating apps. So it's like there's a lot of work still.
Yeah, to generate anything, even if you want to generate code, generate images.
Yeah.
It's actually it's a science in itself at the moment, and it's actually a black box for many aspects.
Yeah, because it's so difficult for us to really actually express what we really have in mind. So I guess to your point, the question is like, what do you think is going to be the solution to this?
For instance, right, I work in Glide. We make apps, so there are other tools, for instance, like Retool, where people can write low code, and AI could easily write code snippets, obviously. When it comes to images, for instance, if you use Midjourney, other things, the AI builds different images, so you can at least have a kind of a choice or a kind of path, with randomic. But when it comes to, for instance, apps where you have just, one prompt and one result, which perhaps is not generated code, which you might debug by something you don't see, basically. So, what do you think are the solutions or possible things that we can do to improve that?
So, I mean, from a photo room perspective, the prompt issue is something we focus on every day, and we're looking at different ways we can help a user to write a better prompt, either by looking at the image they've already uploaded and using AI to then maybe suggest things they could complement that image, or we just released on the web app a feature we're calling image guidance, which is where you use an existing image to search and generate a new image. So we're trialing lots of different things of like, how does a user get the best output from the minimal input that they understand how to generate. And we've started offering for every prompt 4 different images, and then we're going to increase that to 8, and then they can continue to generate until they find something they like. And then the next stage is then how do we then allow that user to then see the prompts that worked for them previously. So finding a way so that they can save them, they can keep them within the app, and they can export them and use them elsewhere. So for us, it's a mixture of how can we use things that people understand to inform the prompt creation process, be that an image or formulating a sentence that is effective.
From Eden perspective, so we add a new feature called prompt optimization. So basically, we are reading a lot of articles about how OpenAI, Cohere, Anthropic are they're making some recommendations on how to write the right prompts. So we are implementing all these recommendations. So it's quite new on the app, but you can, when you are using text generation, you can use this option like prompt optimization made by Eden AI.
Is it like it give you a structure to follow, or how does it help you concretely?
So if you are a user, you are going to write your prompt, and then we are changing your prompt to have better results on the different APIs.
Hello, my question is for the room. In terms of cropping images, so your AI is able to select the most valuable area on the image and crop?
Sorry, I can't see where you are. Could you wave? Sorry. Hey. So at the moment, the way that the API works is that you create a template on the web app, and you basically say, I want to crop to this degree, but it will detect the image, yes, and then it will place it within the template that you've created within the web app. So that could be in the center of the image, the side, and then also apply a background of any type, be that transparent or a solid color or a generative background.
Okay, so if I describe the business and the image normally reflects the business, afterwards the AI selects the area only based on the location, but it not interpret the image with my business description of my business.
So it will the app will understand what's in the image. It will remove that. The AI will select the image, the cutout of whatever you've uploaded, and then it will suggest backgrounds and prompts off the image. But you're right, the business understanding is not there yet. So the business is abstract from that. One thing that, the real North Star from a consumer perspective for Photo Room is like one-click upload to a marketplace or a reselling website, where we would understand the business better in order to inform everything we do off the image, yeah.
Thank you.
Maybe someone has another question? Don't be shy, raise your hand.
They're hungry, maybe.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. I think we need the mic to capture the sound.
Yeah, question for Taha. Can we, because if I would be using Azure, for example, they have the OpenAI language services as well, and I can, they have this cognitive search where I can vectorize my documents, and then basically, for example, if I want to create internal chat, my employees can search internal documentation. Can we do something similar on Eden? For example, if I would add my knowledge base, like all the documents that I want to vectorize, create this database, and then use different APIs that you offer that they can go through this documentation.
Yes. So we launched a new service called Ask Yoda. Yoda stands for Your Data. I think that at some point we have to paste Star Wars for that. But right now we are using this logo and this name. So it's exactly what you're describing. I was talking about the Eden AI products, what we are building on top of our API. It's one of the examples. So on Ask Yoda, you can upload your data. It can be either text, URL, or document. So you can choose the right OCR model for this. You can also upload audios, so you can choose the right speech recognition model for that. And then you can use the embeddings model, and then the vector base. It can be a Pinecone, Quadrant, etc. And to finish, the text generation, the chat model. So you can really build all this, and it's available on EdenAI.
All right, good. Thanks for the question. It's a wrap. Thank you, Dan. And thank you, Taha. Thank you all. Thanks for coming.
logiciel de gestion complet 100% NoCode. Les modules CRM, vente, achat, stock sont écrits en NoCode pour apporter une souplesse unique sans programmation. Et vous pouvez vous-même ajouter ce nouveau champ dans votre ERP. Ça y est, c'est déjà fonctionnel. Simax vous permet de modifier les formules de calcul vous-même et de façon intuitive. Simplifiez-vous la vie en ajoutant des traitements automatisés. Cela vous permettra de remplacer des tâches répétitives et gagner en productivité.
Our team didn't need a new way to work. We needed a smarter way, so we switched to SmartSuite. SmartSuite helps us manage every process in our company. It makes our work simpler, smoother, and, well, smarter. SmartSuite isn't just another task management program. It's a work management platform that allows us to collaborate right where the work is being done. Not only can we assign tasks, set priorities, and manage workflows, we can even track company goals, perform analytics, and share data with different teams and departments. It's super easy to use, totally customizable, and with over 150 templates to choose from, there's a process for every project. It even comes in 15 different languages. Best part? I don't need a million open tabs and random programs just to do my job. It's all right there. We use SmartSuite to manage everything, and I mean everything. Sales, marketing, HR, customer support, product development, project management, just to name a few. With SmartSuite, getting our work done is so much easier that we're getting more work done and enjoying what we do too. It's no wonder our entire company is on board. So switch to SmartSuite and work smarter, not harder. Give it a try at smartsuite.com. Any process, any industry, one platform.
Wherever you are full of ideas. Ideas to change your life, your community, and your world. Our mission is to equip people just like you to become active creators. Now is the time to turn your idea into an app. Let's build something great together.
Create custom mobile apps without code on Thunkable.
Voilà, et comme on a le lunch break qui est juste après, si ça dépasse de 5 minutes, Billy, le vigile, ne viendra pas vous virer un coup de pied au cul, donc pas de panique.
What if you could push a button and see your website traffic and conversion increase instantly? Discover Weglot and the impact of translating your website. Add a language switcher in minutes and start getting visitors from all over the world with your multilingual website. Easily manage your translations with your team or professional translators. Weglot, the easiest way to translate your website.
Build custom applications for your unique business needs faster using our intuitive drag-and-drop interface. Integrate with an ecosystem of 500 plus applications and perform actions without needing to write a single line of code. Visualize your data and gain insights on the go using analytics. Automate your business processes using blueprints to solve complex issues in real time from anywhere in the world.
Hello everyone. For our last talk before lunch break, we are going to discuss the state of NoCode and what lies on the horizon. Please give a very warm welcome to founder and co-CEO of Bubble, Emmanuel Straznov. Welcome, Emmanuel. He will be accompanied by Lucien Tavanneau, CIO of Allegria Group. Welcome, Lucien.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, good morning. So this is going to be a bit of a different session. I think Emmanuel loves this format. But first, I wanted to give a little intro and say that Emmanuel, we're so happy to have you again at the summit. So you were here last year for the first edition. You chose to come back, and knowing what to expect. So thanks for coming back. You're obviously very dear to the NoCode Summit and the local community here of Bubblers and NoCoders at large. So for those who don't know Emmanuel, so he co-founded Bubble straight out of grad school with Josh, his co-founder, and it's been an overnight success of 10 years in the making, basically. So some time. It took a bit of time, yeah. And so Bubble, I don't know if you want to say a few words about Bubble before we dive in, but I'll leave you introduce your tool.
Sure. We're a full stack replacement, so we're a no-code platform that lets you build, at this point, pretty much any kind of web application. Like, it's actually really flexible when you know how to use it, so there is a little bit more of a learning curve than a lot of other tools, but then you can do a lot of things. And yeah, it's been 11 years. No-code has definitely changed dramatically since we started in 2012. I mean, in 2012, no-code was not even a word. And it's been fantastic to see this and to be part of this also.
All right, so this is something that you like to do, and we've been doing together a couple of times, and you've been doing it with other no-coders. Here is taking questions from the audience straight out and making it the whole part of the core part of your intervention. So we're going to do the same here, but I just wanted maybe to start to like with a fairly general question, but looking back at Bubble, and you were, I would say, the preferred choice for entrepreneurs and people launching the project, and you've grown with them, and now some of them are like having really big companies running on Bubble. So can you tell us a bit about this story, not your story, but the story of your users and what we've been building on Bubble and how you've seen that impact, your platform? What are the like intensive use cases you've seen and that you're proud of, I guess, also?
It's hard to choose one particular story. I guess I'll use something pretty timely because it's about AI, and I actually know they're here, and they were talking earlier with Fabian from our team. One company, ThinkFlow AI, for instance, is something that I've been watching pretty closely. Okay. So two brothers from Berlin. At the beginning of the AI, I mean, AI has been around for a long time, but what really started happening late last year, they started facing the challenge of knowing which model is the right one to solve your problem, and decided to build a business around this. And a lot of the business, in fact, like the main web premise and the main platform they're using is built on Bubble. And pretty much in 6 months, they got to like 6,000 customers, raised the seed round of almost $2 million, which I don't actually, for people who know the Bubble story, I don't necessarily think that fundraising is that important. We didn't raise money for a very long time, but it is a testament of, not an overnight success, but a very rapid success for like two non-technical people, two people building, without technical resources to build their product on Bubble. And that's something really exciting to watch. That's really why we're doing this in the first place. Like, the people we're building for are really, founders scaling on the platform. And so watching this as an example, which again is particularly impressive because of how fast it went, but there has been many others, is really why I'm doing this in the first place, and I'm not getting tired of it.
But I'm guessing you're seeing more and more of these. Like, you highlighted one, but you're seeing more and more. So
yeah, by definition,
for Bubble hopefully. Specifically, what does this mean for you now that you're supporting so many bigger and bigger businesses now?
I mean, it's great. It does
more pressure, I guess.
It does mean more pressure, and it's more challenging. It's kind of the nature of the market we chose, like startups, because startups growing quickly do put some pressure on the platform, more so than other tools. If you have another use case, which is, for instance, focusing on internal tools, usually usage tends to be pretty flat, and that's how it's meant to be. When you're dealing with scaling startups, it scales very quickly, and so it does put a lot of challenges on the platform, but that's great. I mean, that's why we're here. We probably didn't choose the easiest path and easiest problem to solve, but I think if we solve that, though, then, we have built something pretty extraordinary. And I think we're still very early on the way. I don't think we're anywhere close to the end of where we should be.
All right, so let's do it meetup style and pass the mic to the audience. I'm guessing you'll be grilled with very technical questions or maybe more high-level ones. And we don't filter out questions, so be ready. Who wants to open the stage with questions? Yes.
Thank you for being here. I have a question, might be too long, but I'm going to try to put it in English. I'm personally, I think others are waiting for the future features coming on Bubble, and the classic as nativity, as the BD key can allow us to have a Bubble app on App Store, Play Store. RGPD, for example, which is in France particularly, and as you were born in France but work in US, you have maybe double expertise about how things go for secured application here and how it goes in US. And AI, there are a lot of things coming on, and I can't wait to see how Bubble and you and your team are gonna integrate them. If I have to choose one, it's RGPD, and how is the best way, which is the best way to integrate them? We have the feeling that the CNIL is more looking at the efforts and the commitments than the results, but it's still a point of interrogation, a question that's not really clear. It's kind of cloudy, a little as my question.
Maybe you should take some of these key questions.
So I'm not exactly sure I can summarize this, to be honest. Is this more like focused on GDPR eventually? Or?
I think it can be focused on our RGPD.
Yeah, so on that front, you've been asked many times, so what's the latest on this topic? What are you, I mean, straight answer is like, we're GDPR compliant, yes. What are you doing beyond that for data sovereignty and companies that want to go beyond GDPR?
And we have strengthened our approach on that pretty dramatically actually this year. Okay. I'm not sure if people saw that, but the Bubble for Enterprise announcement early in September, which was really about SOC 2 compliance and GDPR actually. So, for people who are not familiar with SOC 2, it's more of an international US concept. In Europe, people tend to use ISO 27.
Are you going to take the ISO one as well?
We're looking into it, but it's basically a way to ensure that we are implementing all the state-of-the-art standards to make sure that data is secure for our users, and that's something that is really trustworthy across the world. And so part of that GDPR was a big push that we did. I've considered us to be GDPR compliant before, but we did implement more things to make sure that, and we had an external company looking at what we were doing to ensure that we were doing well. So at this point, I'm pretty comfortable with where we are regarding GDPR. One thing I would say though is that and that's true for Bubble users, most of that for other application builders on the NoCode platform because of the nature of our product and what people tend to do with it. You have to do yourself things carefully to be GDPR compliant yourself. Like, it's not just about us being GDPR compliant. I've seen some people building apps in ways that are not secure because of some design choices they've made in the platform. That would be a problem, that are probably a problem with being GDPR compliant. So that's something we need to do together, us as a platform, and users that have to build their applications in the way that's solid. But today, I feel pretty good about our position.
And I don't want to put you on the grill here, but we have a very, I would say, tech-savvy, knowledgeable audience about Bubble. So can you give us some specifics about what you've done for GDPR? Like you were saying, like we were GDPR, now we are even more GDPR. Like, what does this mean?
A lot of this is actually internal controls inside the company, in terms of what so people can.
Product technically.
I mean, there has been some stuff like that around how fast you implement security patches and stuff like this. But a lot of it is actually internal policies that is important. Yeah. Okay, to the question of like data allocation, because I know this is something top of mind for people. I'm from Europe, it's also top of mind for us. It's something we definitely are actively working toward. It's just a complicated problem to solve, to start having multiple data centers in multiple parts of the world. We have that for enterprise customers, because that's something we can offer then when we isolate them from the main user base. Having the main user base, having servers in different regions of the world is complicated. We're actively working toward that, but it's a long-term project. But it's definitely something we'll do.
Understood, but because we were seeing some software publishers here offering server location, not on the enterprise level, but at the first, like maybe paid plan, or not necessarily free plan, but paid plan at least, the first paid plan. So
I mean, that's what we're working towards.
So my question is more like, is it because of for legacy reason that it's difficult to do, or?
Yeah, I mean, the legacy, not legacy, but we didn't build it like that in the first place. It was not a thing in 2012. It was not that important.
It was different context.
That's one of the things you have when you start sooner than other people, is that you know less about the world, because we started earlier, and so we didn't build it in that way in the first place, and so we need to do some transformation to make it work. But if I were to start Bubble today, I would definitely think about multi-region hosting from the get-go.
Got it, okay. Thanks for being transparent about this. I don't know if we have another question. Yeah.
Hello guys. My question is related but simplest. I know there were much Bubble developer in Brazil, in France, and my question is, what's the podium today? And Emmanuel, can you give us numbers of app where they developed, and what's the podium?
We'll keep asking this question until France is number one, I think. But
yeah, well, unfortunately, France is not number one, so you please keep pushing. I would love, honestly, to see France number one, or number two for that matter, because France for some time was number two, and it's not the case anymore. I mean, to be simple, I mean, the US is obviously the biggest one, as you would expect. The United Kingdom, UK and Brazil keep switching. I haven't checked as of this morning. Last week it was Brazil, but 3 or 4 weeks ago it was the UK, so it's really, really close. And then France is after that. One thing worth noting, though, is that the US is it's a double-digit percentage. It's more than 30% of our business, but everything else is actually below 8%. So we have an extremely distributed user base. Like, we're very global, which I think is extremely exciting. I think we have paying customers in more than 100 countries at this point, which is something that I'm really, really excited about. And I want to keep it that way. Because we're in France, I can be a little bit more honest about this. I would like to be France to be a little bit higher. So please help me doing this. Like
we're doing what we can here.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I'll say about NoCode in general and in France is that the community here is particularly vibrant compared to pretty much all the other markets we're seeing. Japan actually has a strong community. We don't necessarily see them as much because a lot of it is happening in Japanese, not in English. While here it's a bit of a mix. I mean, we're in Paris but speaking English. But I have to give a lot of credits to the French community of no-coders, because they did create something that I haven't seen in other markets yet.
And just random question, but how it's bubbling in China? Is it also like available, and do you have like a customer base there? I'm asking because this is one of the territory we don't talk so often, especially here.
Well, there is a reason for that. You don't have any cloud provider in China, basically. So, I mean, we're there. I mean,
you have to use the.
You can try to access Bubble.io in China. Probably works okay, but a bit slowly. But then it's not a great experience, and therefore we don't have a ton of users. We have a few users. I mean, it's one of the paying countries we have, but not many. And that's not much we can do until getting to the point where you start having operations in China and servers in China. So not something anywhere close to the roadmap. We'll do French European hosting first.
Thank you for that.
I mean, I lived in China for many years. I would love also to do something there, but this is not on the roadmap.
Got it. Another question, maybe? Yeah.
Hi. As a bubbler from the UK, I'm happy to hear that we're doing okay. A quick question on the horizon. What do you think the trends over the next sort of 2 to 3 years are going to be in the no-code area?
I think the trends in the coming few years about what, sorry?
Sorry, the trends in no-code generally in the next 2 to 3 years.
I mean, no-code is a tricky space because you have a lot of different interpretations of no-code, and in fact, I don't think we have competitors. So I'll talk about Bubble's perspective, which is probably going to be different from a lot of other players. But the trends we're seeing, scaling, I think, is something really important. And when I talk about scaling, I'm not talking about Bubble's scale. I mean, obviously, we also are scaling, but making sure our users can scale on the platform is very important. I hope that in a few years, we don't talk about startups raising a few millions of dollars of funding, but actually truly like well-established, large-scale businesses, maybe some, getting public. So for the next 3 years, it's definitely one big topic that we're seeing that we want to keep pushing that. I mean, that's what is driving a lot of our work internally. AI is probably another trend that we're still figuring out exactly how it's going to impact the space. I think there are very exciting opportunities there. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more about this. But it's definitely something that that will be part of the no-code landscape going forward. And finally, in terms of user adoption and engagement, I want to keep pushing the idea that no-code is good for empowering people and democratizing access to technology. As we've seen, as no-code is getting a little bit more mature, we start seeing more companies moving a little bit more up market, and there is this...
You included, yeah?
Well, we can talk about that, actually. Not necessarily. I'd be happy. We can take a minute to talk about this. But there is, as a market gets, as a field, let's call no-code a field, gets a little bit more mature, there is a tendency for companies to move up market, and I want to make sure we don't forget that, why we're here in the first place, and at least at Bubble, the reason we're here in the first place is empower people that do not have access to technical resources and usually don't have a ton of access to funding because money can solve problems and you can find an engineering team to be able to launch the product they need either for a company that they want to start or to solve a problem that where technology would be great, a great way to solve it. And I want to make sure we keep doing that. So I don't know if as a market in its entirety, this is going to be an important trend for the next 3 years. But for us, it's definitely something that remains extremely top of mind.
Yeah, I think this is what we observed and what we can observe from if you just scroll for the booth here, many of the other software publishers are clearly moving up market to the enterprise segment. And we heard your statement just right now on like how you don't, I would say, forget to change your original mission, but how do you reconcile this with, like you mentioned, you just passed the SOC 2 compliance and you launched Bubble for enterprise. So how can you elaborate on the overall strategy, I would say, on Bubble from the market perspective?
Yeah, so there are a few things here. The first thing I'll say is that our we're not necessarily moving up market, but our users are becoming up markety, or I don't know how you want to see it. Like, for instance, one example that comes to mind in Paris, Cure, that started on us like 3-4 years ago. Their needs today are very different from their needs 3-4 years ago. And in many ways, their needs are becoming more enterprise-like. Not necessarily, well, GDPR definitely very top of mind for everyone here, but the bigger you get, it gets more important. In the United States, we actually start having sometimes SOC 2 compliance conversations with scaling startups because it is a way for them to ensure that what they're doing is secure. It's a way to get more funding and everything. So that's one of the drivers for us, is because our goal is to scale with our users. Mechanically, it's looking like we're moving up market a little bit, but we still have like the core of our marketing and the way we try to get users is very much for founding teams, like trying to have founders on the platform. So that's one thing. Then the second thing is, eventually, I'm hoping, and I know sometimes people say it's not necessarily the best way to run a business to try to be everywhere and to do everything, but
I won't say that.
In the long term, my vision is that Bubble should be everywhere, including in very large companies. And so when we do some work that actually helps scaling startups succeed better on the platform, if it turns out to solve some problems for larger companies who do have real needs for no-code, I mean, no-code is actually not a new field in the enterprise world, then great. And, like that's actually very exciting. Then the question is, how much time do we spend trying to work with larger companies versus keep sticking to founding teams and scaling startups. And then it's about a resource allocation problem. Today, like probably 70 or 80% of our resources are allocated to founding teams and scaling startups. We do experiment with enterprise and large accounts because it's interesting, and I would say they also deserve good products, to solve their problems. And so I think Bubble can be a great solution for that, but it's not our key focus today.
All right.
I've seen companies in the space actually changing that, like actually saying, moving deliberately to enterprise and not necessarily wanted to serve the long, what we call the long tail of very early stage organizations and individuals. I'm sure it's great for them, it works for them. It's not what Bubble is for.
Okay, yeah, also very clear. Thanks. Yeah, another question up there. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Tosan from another Bubble startup from Berlin. My question resonates well with what you said before. Maybe it boils down to when is Bubble ready for the first unicorn? Because we are here, right? Because we built our first version on Bubble, and now we're scaling very quickly and thinking about how the next 18 months are going to look like in terms of, like, do we stay on Bubble? What do we do? And everybody here tells us, yeah, there's always workarounds for everything, right? But like, I think this question maybe boils down very, very nicely in a way to this longer perspective of how do we plan if we're like quickly growing with the pace of developments within Bubble.
So just make sure I understand the question. Is Bubble ready for the next unicorn? If I had to summarize the question.
Or is it like, how do we plan scaling on Bubble? Like, how do we plan our 18-month roadmap, basically, to scale on Bubble? Is that it?
Yeah, exactly. So if you look at today, our biggest competitor, like the big incumbent, is Auto1, right? Like, we're building a platform for used TVs. And if they would want to now build their product on Bubble, nowadays it wouldn't work. Like, thousands of employees. Maybe you tell me, but like I would feel like from what our experience, it maybe not yet there, right? Like, and our question is like, when are we there? So can we actually stay on Bubble for like forever for us, or are we not there yet?
So in a nutshell, can we stay on Bubble forever from startup to IPO?
Well, I mean, that's definitely the mission that we have and what we actively working toward to. And we'll do whatever is humanly possible, really, to ensure this is possible. Can I guarantee everything will ever be fine? No, but the truth is no one can, even if you have an engineering team. Like, one thing that I think is getting in the way of NoCode sometimes is that people see these as tools, and then they see a limitation, and they're like, oh, or a problem, and they're like, okay, NoCode, there is a problem with NoCode. But the truth is, if you have your own engineering team, you're going to have a lot of problems, and that's okay, and that's part, the story of building software companies and scaling with software. But that's definitely where our heart is and where we put most of our energy. Could today a unicorn be built on Bubble? I think so. The challenge with this question, though, is that it really depends on what the business is and how you build your application. It's one thing we're actually trying to spend more energy on is how can we help our users build more efficient applications? Because depending on how you build, I've seen companies with not many users having issues, and I've seen companies with a ton of users scaling very nicely and gracefully because the way it was built was actually built in an efficient way. And I'm very aware that it's hard for our users to know at first what's good and not good in terms of design. I think the educational endeavors we've seen in the ecosystem and people training people are actually very helpful here because that's a way to get good practices. But I think there are many things we can build in our product to help educate people better and tell them, okay, this is not great, this is a much better way to build it. Because for people that are using Bubble, you know that there are multiple ways usually to do the same thing. And so I've seen companies scale very well, and I'm confident I don't know what the valuation would be, these numbers are usually not public, but I'm confident we could be having like unicorns on the platform. Could all unicorns, regardless of how they build things and what they do, be on the platform today? Probably not, but that's something we're actively working toward. Again, back to these trends, like scale is very top of mind today when we think about product prioritization and just improving the platform. How do we ensure that we keep these companies and they don't leave? Whenever I see a company leaving us for scaling issues because they're getting too big, this really, really hurts because this is exactly why we built this company in the first place, and so I take that very personally, and I don't like that.
So taking with a few companies in mind like this, I guess a follow-up question is, people don't necessarily leave Bubble entirely. They start building also out of Bubble some components. So I'm thinking about, you mentioned Cure before. Well, we have Prelo here as well. These ones still use Bubble and in combination with other tools. So what are the combinations that you've seen or that you particularly maybe like from a technical standpoint? Not that necessarily you would recommend, because Bubble does it all, but
so
you see.
I understand we have a little bit of a tricky positioning for people, in a sense that there are two very important things in our philosophy. We want to be a fully integrated platform and a full stack replacement, and I think today we are the only one really doing this in the no-code world, which is, you have design, data, and logic that is something that is available to you, and you could really do pretty much anything without another tool for your application. At the same time, and I know sometimes it sounds a little bit contradictory, we're building our platform in a very open way, because we think, especially given the market that we're serving, which is people building companies, it would be extremely dangerous to start putting limitations in how much they can connect to other systems, because at some point they would get to hitting a roadblock and then they have to migrate out of the platform because they can't build the product they want to build. And so that's why the platform is so open, and therefore, yes, it's totally possible to integrate Bubble with other tools. I've seen people do that very well. I think one thing that, so there are two things here, like there is which tool they're using, and then the case of a company using Bubble and then building things with traditional code on the side. So I'll cover these two things. In terms of tools, I've seen play very well with Bubble. I think Zapier and Make are something that actually makes, you could do a lot of everything I think that you could do with this platform with Bubble, but it would take a ton of work to do that. And these platforms have created, like beautiful one-click flow integrations to actually start having different systems talking to each other, and in particular, some systems talking to your application. So that's one thing I've seen working very well. But I've also seen other people, a lot of users using different backends with Bubble. How I feel about that? I mean, I would love to have built everything so great that people don't feel the need to do that, but this is a big project that we have. Like being a full stack replacement means that we can't, focus on one thing and do it extremely well. We have to do everything extremely well, and by definition, if you have to do that, it takes more time. So it's going to take some time for us to get great at everything. But in the meantime, it's very reasonable for people to start integrating with different platforms, and that's okay, because philosophically, I'm very open to that. When I think about the very long-term vision of Bubble, it's not going to be one system that does everything, but I want to be the system that everybody uses and that connects to other things when other platforms, other systems are better than ours to do things. Now, to your point about company scaling on the platform and start introducing code sometime and talking to the systems they're building, the two companies you mentioned are doing that. I think it's actually a testament of how powerful no-code is in some ways, because as they get bigger, and there are things where code is objectively better than no-code, and there are still things where code is better than no-code to build like something that is very particular to your business, then it's great. They're allocating the engineering resources just to work on that, so it's very efficient because they don't need to have engineers to do other things, and then their platform, the Bubble app, talks to that. I want to encourage companies that are scaling to do this. If it turns out that there's no-code tool, and in particular not Bubble, to realize what they need to do, and they need to go back to code. AI is a perfect example. You're not going to build LLM models in no code for a long time. I mean, it's good, like, that takes a lot of technical work. So the company would be, you have engineers working on that particular thing with code because that's where code is the best, and then you use Bubble or another no-code tool for the things that you don't need to use no-code for, and then you just have both systems talk to each other.
And I don't know if it's on purpose or not, you didn't mention mobile. You want to complete your answer on this? Well, saying like this is maybe the most obvious for me.
This is definitely something that we're looking into. We'll be able to share more about our product roadmap in a couple of weeks in New York at our Bubble conference.
Cool. Some teasing here, yeah? Some of you are coming, yeah. Another question?
And we hope to see you there, online or in person.
Hello.
The size.
Yeah. Hi, Roger. I work at a system integrator in the Netherlands, and we actually came here to search for more like hardcore business no-code tools, but we didn't find them. And if I now listen to your focus, I'm a little bit unsure what your vision is about these kind of business applications, and if Bubble, if you want to do a full stack stuff, could also be like a concurrent for like tools we used to work with, like Mendix and OutSystems, like the high profile tools. So I guess you know a lot about the low no-code area. So what do you think, and I'm not so happy with Mendix and OutSystems, so we are looking for better tools. So what do you think the no-code world is converting to in regard to these hardcore business applications with like 150 tables, thousands of business rules, microflows which have to be manageable and readable and composable. So I'm very curious to your opinion about these kind of things.
So I think the question is, are you going for the big guys, for Mendix market shares and OutSystems market shares?
It's currently not
really the big guys, the low-code guys, I would say.
Yeah, it's currently not our market focus. I mean, again, we're exploring a little bit what it means to sell to large companies, but we're still very much focusing, on founding teams and startups. One thing I'll say though is that when you can do more, you can do less, and I'm very comfortable with what Bubble can do in the enterprise world for internal tools, because if you can build, a scaling company that has, millions of users and it's beautiful because it's customer facing, when it's customer facing, it has to be beautiful. You can definitely do great things internally. It would take a little bit more work to do it. So I'm excited about the internal use case because, as I said earlier, I think big companies deserve good tools to build good problems. I wouldn't necessarily say that Bubble is the best tool for everything. I would say it's great for the tools, for companies that are building tools internally or externally, but that are meant to look like an external-facing application with a nice user experience. If you're building for something to automate tasks inside the large companies, I do think there are companies that would do that better than we do.
So everyone seems to be circling around the enterprise question. And you announced Bubble for Enterprise, but basically the 80-20 rule, so you have all these startups. Everyone dreams of being an enterprise. Everyone's building on your platform to eventually become a big company. And the fear is everyone is going to move off or has to make a choice. So it's a very simple question. Are you adding a product owner for Bubble for Enterprise, that they only focus on those enterprise features? I can name 100 that could be added that would benefit. I'm an enterprise company. I have another one that's in China on Bubble. And there's a whole list of things that can be improved, but there doesn't seem to be a product owner owning that.
So yeah, so
a product owner, I mean, do we have an individual at Bubble owning that?
Yeah, that drives the product specifically.
We do have a senior PM owning that. I'm not sure that's
I mean,
interesting here, but yes, we do have a product owner, yes.
I think the question was, so you have Alan, right, the VP product?
Well, Alan leads product in general, so he oversees everything. But we do have, when you start serving large companies, you have some people that are responsible of doing what we can to serve them better, so we do have a product owner. What I'm talking about is the overall resource allocation, and on that front, the majority of our technical and engineering resources are for scaling startups.
So the product team is not necessarily, the work is not devised for enterprise versus others. It's more like general for the whole Bubble platform. I
mean, there is an overall roadmap, and we do have some product managers that own particular part of a customer. They don't own a customer, but they're responsible for making sure Bubble serves better a particular ICP. And so we have some people, we have someone in fact for our enterprise users. And then we have to see how it fits the overall roadmap, obviously.
Hello, Jorge, CEO of Grante, a NoCode agency. How you see the evolution of the no-coders profiles, Bubble profiles, in terms of now changing the segmentation of your users? Now it's more enterprise, and the evolution of the tool. Is the time of like citizen developer kind of over now with this evolution?
Yeah. I guess over the 11 years of the product, the initial users you had are maybe different from the users you have now. And so I guess not statistically, but overall, what's your impression, like how the community of Bubble developers has evolved? Have they matured, or what did you observe? I guess that's more or less like have the bubblers also evolved with the platform at the same time? You know, how is the crowd different today from?
I mean, definitely, and in fact, I mean, they've evolved with the entire no-code market. Like the level of knowledge people have, even when it's about choosing the different tools. Like 3-4 years ago, I felt like all the no-code tools were competing with each other, because people weren't sure about what the different tools were doing relatively to each other. Today, if you ask me who we're competing with, I actually don't think I think every tool currently has its own segment of the no-code space and is doing it very well. And so we don't really compete with each other anymore. And the reason is because people are way more sophisticated about what the different tools are doing, which I think in events like this are very much helping everyone in that regard. So I think that's great. The concept of citizen developers is something pretty old, actually. Like it's something that was in the late 90s and the early 2000s. I think today we would call them no-coders, so it's just, I think it's a denomination change that just needs to happen, and a generational change also, like mathematically. People that were citizen developers in the late 90s are a little bit older than I think many people in this audience, and therefore there is a little bit of a transition that needs to happen, but from a personal standpoint, I think it's very similar. The one major thing that is a little bit different is the early tools that were not called no-code tools like 25 years ago that were used by citizen developers were tools used by inside big companies most of the time, while today no-code is a lot about the long tail of, again, founders, individuals, people starting agencies and everything. And so that's where there is a little bit of a change. I think the persona hasn't necessarily changed, but what they use as platforms for is changing. Now, not going back to enterprise, but as these people enter the workforce, and that's something we're seeing, the pool we're seeing for enterprise 100% of the time is because they have hired a Bubble user that has knows how to use Bubble and start seeing opportunities inside a large organization of how they use them. So I think we're going back a little bit to the citizen developer profile, but they're now called as no-coders just because a lot of no-coders are entering the workplace in larger companies.
I think we have another question over there. Yeah.
Hi, Pierre here. I've been a Bubble developer for about 3 years, and in the question of scaling startups, you mentioned something about it also depends how the app is built, which made me think about a discussion I had with many Bubble developers, even during the last 2 days in the NoCode Summit, around best practices on Bubble development, which right now we can see some coming from the communities, and because it's an open-ended tool, obviously, there's a lot of different ways to build on Bubble. But I was wondering if within Bubble you're thinking about, advocating for some best practices in the development of Bubble, or what is the thinking behind that to help people build in the same way, which will make it easier for people to build teams and build startups with following the best practices to build on Bubble.
Yeah, 100%. In fact, we launched as of last week, our certification open to everyone. We announced it earlier in the summer, and it was still in closed beta on an invitation basis because we wanted to make sure the test was good. But this is very much part of our effort of uplifting the average level of everyone in the ecosystem and making sure that Bubble developers are good developers and that people who can know who's good and not good, because when you're looking for a freelancer, it's hard to know if someone is going to be good or not good, and a certification, that's exactly what certifications are for. And certification, I don't know if you took the test, but a lot of that is about the right design patterns to make sure your application scales. So that's one way to address it. I would say it's the fastest way to address it because it doesn't take too much time to set that up versus start baking this in the product. The other way we're looking at this is how to bake that in the product, and we do both. But the end state is definitely that we want people to build applications in the way that works well, because it's better for everyone. It's better for the users, better for the end users, and it's better for us. And so we'll do whatever we can to start, and making sure that apps are built the right way, and if they're not built the right way, how can we run them in the right way?
Yeah, we've seen some tiny but important changes around privacy rules, for instance, when the default now is private, whereas it was the opposite before and so on. So do you have some other small but important features, or with an important impact at least, features that are coming?
This is a pretty important topic, and it's not about small features here and there. So I can't really give you a particularly exciting little feature that would help. This comes down a lot to big data manipulation, like when you start manipulating a lot of rows at the same time. One of the things that is the most costly for people in terms of resources and complexity is how they manipulate, tens of thousands of things in the database at the same time, in one time. And that's where it's not like a small feature. It's actually like a pretty significant work, both on the front end in the editor in terms of how people will be setting up what they need to do with data, and the way this gets executed in the back end, because manipulating many rows at the same time is a complete complex problem. And so that's something that is definitely a big priority for us, because again, it's something that people need pretty much for all the time in their journey, but in particular when they start scaling.
Could AI help into this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually surprised the AI didn't come a little bit sooner.
Like, don't do this, query like this. It's more efficient, like given your data structure.
It's potentially there's potentially some exciting things you can do with AI in terms of the optimizing. In fact, I mean, a lot of companies without Gen AI have been using machine learning to optimize queries. So there are opportunities there. It's not necessarily where we're thinking about using AI most immediately in the editor, but that's something we could be exploring.
All right, a lot of teasing for the BubbleCon. Where's the mic?
Yeah. One thing I'll say about AI is that I think it's important to take your time to make sure you really create something that has value. When ChatGPT came out in November, I saw a lot of companies rushing into announcing some AI features in the editor, but I'm actually not sure it completely transformed the game. While I actually think it should transform the game in NoCode. I think AI implemented the right way. The mission of AI, which is about empowering, about having computers and humans speak a better language, particularly generative AI, like you can start talking to ChatGPT and ChatGPT responds to you in plain English or plain French, is very exciting and extremely aligned with the reason we built Bubble in the first place. I mean, Bubble is not natural language programming, but it's visual and it's much closer than code, right? And so I think these two things should work together. They can accelerate each other into empowering more people to do things with machines, and that's something that needs to be done carefully. It takes a little bit of time, I think, to really make sure you nail this, but if you do that right, if we do this right, I think this can completely transform the space.
All right, yeah.
Hi, my name is Chris. I traveled all the way from Bergen in Norway to this conference to find an alternative to Power Apps and OutSystems. And I find it hard to understand where you're going with Bubble, because yesterday I was in a presentation with AppFarm, and they have like I would say a more full stack platform than Bubble. Are you going in the direction of Bubble being like the competitor to AppFarm, to OutSystems, or to Power Apps?
So I guess the question is your product roadmap, which direction is it going? But the examples given were, I think, AppFarm, Power Apps, and OutSystems. So I don't know how you situate yourself first, maybe, or how do you put Bubble into this? I don't know what are the coordinates we are talking about here. But
it's a bit challenging for me to define what we do comparing to other tools. It's not really how I think. I mean, the way I think about this is, are we solving the problem of our users? Is that the users we're building for? And is that moving us in the right direction? So I can't really make a general statement about how we compare ourselves to these tools. The little I know about these companies is that they're usually more for like very large corporations building internal tools. It's not the primary use case we're building for. We're building for people wanting to build a beautiful, modern product, usually that is customer facing. If it's internal facing, that's great, but it has to, usually it's going to look like an external facing product. And so that's what we're doing, which I think is pretty far from some of these tools. But again, I don't think, one thing I keep repeating internally is that not to define what we do relatively to other tools. The question is more, is this user the type of user we're really building for? Is that a problem that they have? And what can we do to serve them better, regardless of what other guys are doing?
So generally speaking, you don't look too much at the competition, or? Yeah,
competition is not top of mind because...
You said the other actors, not the competition.
It's not top of mind because the market is growing so fast. I mean, if you just... I know sometimes analysts will come with like a no-code market size or stuff like that. If you look at the market in this way, then I guess, yes, we're competing. But the market I'm looking at, and that I think everyone here should be looking at, is software development market. You know, people building applications or like websites, mobile apps, whatever you want. And this market is enormous. We collectively, like no-code actors, represent such a little piece. I mean, it's not even 1%, I think, of the entire market. And so the pie is so, like, I'm not trying to capture more of the cake. The cake is so big anyway that I'm just trying to do what's right for our users. Because if we do that, the fundamental forces of the market, which is, you know, people need to build software. People need to build software that is cheap, because cheaper in a cheaper way, because today it's really expensive to build software. You can't lose if you do that, and what other people are doing in the market is actually not relevant. In fact, we're all growing that market together. Like, we partner with, we don't partner like formally with companies, but our goal is to make that people stop thinking about no-code as a niche in the tech world, but that it becomes like the default for people to building things. And the more people we have that actually shares the same message and improve their product in a way that convince people that are not in the no-code space that no-code is the right tool for them, like one no-code tool is going to be the right tool for them, is helping the cause. I mean, at some point, I mean, at the entrance we say it's a movement. It's truly a movement. Like, no-code is a movement in the sense that here we have very early adopters that are excited about this, but the whole world doesn't know about no-code yet. You know, like, people start hearing a little bit about it in the news, but no one has actually seen what it can do in practice. And so I think it's much more exciting to work together with other companies to increase how big the no-code space is, how much it's relevant for people that don't know about it, and try to compete with each other.
You have to use the mic, otherwise it won't go into the audience who is following online. Or maybe I can repeat your question, if I can hear it from here. Okay, Margot is coming up.
And probably quickly, because I think we're at time.
Yeah. Can I have just this one question? So my question is, you mentioned you have no competitors, but users can use two tools as viable substitutes for what Bubble does. For example, WeWeb and Xano. And for example, also to counter the point you just mentioned, Chrome did manage to monopolize browsers. YouTube did monopolize videos. So you have these companies with less legacy code and shipping faster. So my question is just, what makes you confident you won't be outcompeted in the next 5 years?
I'm sorry, I didn't get it either.
Okay, what makes you confident?
Can you summarize the question just in one question?
Okay, what makes you confident you won't be outcompeted in the next 5 years by, you know, teams shipping faster with less legacy code?
Okay, so yeah, okay, that's the question. Is like someone new coming in, no legacy, they can start with the latest frameworks and stuff. How do you care? And if you do, like, what do you put in place, like, to make sure like you're not going to be disrupted by?
Well, just by, you know, making sure we do good work and that we keep serving our users well and do what they need. I mean, like, I don't really know. Like, you're asking me, will someone be better than us? Maybe, I don't know.
Or maybe to put it this more concrete, are you threatened by the WeWeb plus Xano combination, for instance?
Today, not really. I think this can get you to a product quickly, but I haven't seen anything currently on the market that lets you go as far as you can go on Bubble in terms of feature functionality. Like, pretty much any of the other tools I'm hearing, and that's totally fine, that's the positioning, is that at some point you're going to hit some limitations and going to have to move to something else. And today we don't see people leaving Bubble because of feature limitation. Like, the reason scale is so important is because that's where it hurts. When I was saying it hurts, sometimes we see people leaving because they're getting kind of too big for us and we can't accommodate what they need. And so when I think about all these other tools and the combinations, I think you can do great things with them, but most of the time when I see a company raising, like, for instance, like the $2 million round that I was mentioning earlier, they wouldn't be able to do that with a different tech stack, just because the level of customization it takes usually to create a business where the web platform that you're building is the core of your product and your company, it's usually not possible on other tools.
Got it. All right. And time is up, so I just want to conclude with one last question, Emmanuel. In a few weeks, you have the BubbleCon. So can you give us a few reasons to either go to New York or follow the conference online?
Yeah, sure. I mean, this is a really exciting thing for us because it's the first time. Like, our users have been asking for a long time to gather with the Bubble team for a Bubble conference. So this is the first time after 11 years we do that. So very much looking forward to it. The idea is really to get together, like for the Bubble team and our users to meet together, and for Bubble, for team Bubblers, Bubble users to meet together. What we're hoping to get out of this is mostly talk about the roadmap and what's ahead for next year. We have some pretty exciting things. I've been instructed, it's hard, you know, I've been instructed not to share anything.
Stay between us.
of course, and I think there's a camera over there. But something like sharing some where we see the future development for our product. Like, it's not about no-code in general, it's really like a bubble conference, but to share about where we see the product going, and also, you know, have fun. I mean, the idea is, again, get together. Headquarters is where we are. I mean, New York is, Paris is very close to my heart, but, you know, the New York we're a New York headquartered company, a big chunk of the team there. I don't think Bubble would have existed if Josh and I were not in New York when we started. And so it's great to be gathering with our users in New York physically, and then for everyone to tune in online.
What happened originally. All right. Thank you very much, Manuel, again, for
Thank you very much.
doing this exercise. Yeah.